You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 20th meeting, Part 1 of the LaPorte County budget hearings. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. Welcome to the 2027 LaPorte County budget hearings. Reading this? Stay up to the pledge from the beginning, right? So let's silence phones and let's start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, Mr. Sheriff, I'm going to ask you to bear with me for a minute. We're going to be few things to discuss before we get started. For the folks on the council, you've all got your packets. I hope you've had plenty of time to look at them. We're rolling into an interesting year. Last year we very briefly considered a special purpose lit, and we have been set before us a different incentive from the state when it comes to a wheel tax. There's also some state actions right now that it seems to be that they're rehearsing, having the counties and other local branches of local government standing more on their own versus being funded by the state, just by the actions related to the gas tax holidays that's been renewed for, I think this is the third month. We do have the opportunity where the MLGQ has been increased to about 6% minus circuit breakers, but that doesn't give us a lot of room. So to set the tone, really asking all of us to look at it and say, where can we legitimately make cost-cutting moves that aren't going to require a bunch of unnecessary actions by the department heads to come to us and say, oh, we'll make you whole through rainy day or wind tax or what have you, right? Put as much as we can into the general fund that makes sense, but make sustainable cost cuts that we can, wherever we can. So hopefully you've all had a chance to look at it with those things in mind. Now, some of you know about this, some of you don't. Because of my day job, I am not going to be present for tomorrow. I'm unavailable tomorrow. So Brett will be running the meeting. But I would hope that whatever we can get done today sets the tone and momentum for tomorrow. I'll open up the floor if anybody's got any questions, concerns, or additional points to bring up before we get started. Mr. Yagelski.
So I proposed, I think it was our last meeting or the meeting before last, some cost-cutting savings because the only alternative we have, of course, is part of what you said, is either we raise taxes and or we have to do some cuts across the board. So example, Michigan City Courthouse has only required by law to be open for as many days as they need to see fit. I don't know if there's any way to work it around there, if they would work it out, they could do 4 days or whatever. But so long story short is that I did propose that we close Michigan City 2 days a week, and all that stuff is all accessible here to the county. And of course, with the advent of people using their credit cards, so on and so forth, they're able to do a lot of stuff online. So we'd have to reinforce it. So that will take a lot of departments' costs down and employees down. I'm not proposing that we lay anybody off, but it would, by attrition, that we would slowly, surely weed them out. So it would be more of a, I'd say, a 4-year plan, not a necessary 1-year plan. I also brought up about contracting out our security. We know that every major company, every major bank, every major hospitals, I went to University of Chicago, U of I, they use Allied. It's something that we could look at because that will take care of some of the costs that we have. Again, that would not be to replace everybody. They have jobs that could go work as the sheriff's department gets that, or the jailers, depending on where they need to go. Brought up the holidays. The commissioners they have done nothing over the years but add more holidays. Example, I'll give you the last one when the LaPorte County Council made a motion, voted for to add Juneteenth as a holiday, but they were supposed to take away Election Day. Michigan City's taken away Election Day, just people that LaPorte has also, so that's not something that's not unusual. But what did they do? They added an additional one. They decided we're going to up the council and do it that way. So now we're up to 15. They added Thanksgiving. They added other holidays. So if you look at the original schedule here a few years back, they had 12. 3 days does make a difference if you're looking at the big cost over the long run. So the last, but not least, is, Mike, what was the first year you ran a council? So 2019, we took the council down. The council voted to put the budget's 5% reduction that year. That was the first year, right? I'm just saying. So we went across the board 5%, and then departments had to come back there and reduce it, or we did. Because I know, like, for example, the commissioner says, we're not doing it, you do it, so we reduce ours by 5%. But I mean, if we don't do something outstanding and out of the box and whatever words you want to use, and if we don't stop allowing adding holidays, doing whatever they have to do for the employees, we're going to be ourselves in a situation. And again, 12 holidays is not uncommon for anywhere you work in the industry. 10 to 12 days is a common number, not 15, that's for sure. So I propose that we look at and start to introduce that to our budgets, that we make some reductions up front. And anyway, I'll start that as a conversational point.
All right. Anyone else have anything to add?
Sure, go ahead.
No, please, I'm last, if anything.
Adding to Councilman Yagelski's comments, other areas that we could be looking at as well would be insurance costs. Our health insurance for employees is, I think, probably well over 10% of our total annual expenditures. That's pretty substantial. I'm not suggesting that we should be cutting benefits necessarily, but there might be opportunities to price things out more or fine-tune the nature of our plan in order to reduce costs with it. It's also worth us discussing where we left off with the end of the budget process last year. The 1782 notice had us, after we moved the EMS expenses back into the general, pushing around a $6 or $7 million budget deficit, meaning that we're spending more than we're receiving in. We should probably take another look at our revenues at some point during the next 2 days to decide whether or not those predictions are accurate and how we feel about that process. Because if indeed we're dealing with that again, it's going to be a pretty substantial hole we need to fill. I think those are my main comments for now.
Okay. Mr. Auditor.
Okay, just to remind everybody, in your packet, I left some new information because it wasn't released until last Thursday by the state. The maximum levy increase is 2.7 million. That's not going to make it to the 5.2 or 4 that we need. Especially when we have a lot of costs for our vendor contracts, maintenance contracts, which are going up 5-10%. So this 6% increase is not going to help us cover even those. So that's something else. The other thing is the state has its own method of calculating miscellaneous revenue to a certain extent. That is in here. That was also released. The 15th was the day that they announced it, and the 16th is the day that they posted it. We're still waiting on the public safety lit, the new numbers for lit for next year. Those sometimes come out towards the fall as we get close to just before we budget. So right now we're using the same numbers last year for public safety lit, 8.4 million. My guess is going to go up at least $500,000 to $600,000 to $9 million, because we've been receiving more than that in the current year, and therefore, but we will not know because they have their own funny way of how they calculate it, the state. So those are it. I know that you're not going to be discussing in general just yet. We will get you the numbers for if for any potential pay increases across the board, what they will look like. We did not get all the Form 144s in time to review them on here, so those will have to be reviewed before that begins. I noticed a few changes that needed to be made because what we were trying to do is under the requested budget, keep it the same as last year for payroll and put in the notes what people were asking for. Unfortunately, one group, EMS, we have not been able to sit down with them to figure it out. They put in the second half of the increase that you guys gave them in May. So therefore, those numbers have that in effect, and I don't have a way of breaking it out because I don't have per person for each line yet. So we just didn't have time to get that straightened out as well, so we should go through that. That's going to be it for the general comments for now, and thank you.
So the one thing that, for everybody to keep in mind, if I recall correctly, Mr. Auditor, I'm hoping to keep me honest here, is when we were estimating any kind of increases to wages previously, it was roughly $500,000 for every percentage point-ish. And I'm just looking round numbers. I'm not looking for anything down to the nearest 10 or anything, but that's what I believe it was.
That was a year ago before there was a small increase, which would make that a little higher. And unfortunately, we tried to do a quick calculation the other day, and there were errors in what was being calculated, and I was not going to show you something that wasn't even close. I'd like to comment on the insurance deal. They're going to be getting numbers. They're in late August, middle to late August on that. I've been trying to get those numbers in advance. You will have to watch out when we get to the commissioner's budget. Just property insurance, all of those increased, and I don't believe all of it is in this number because that came out after they had to put the budget in. So that's something else that you'll be looking at. These are big dollar numbers. There was some spot about where medical insurance was increased. That was not on our end. That was done by whichever department that was, just trying to figure out. We've had 10% hikes. So I'm guessing if that one department that was analyzed, maybe just that's what they were trying. But when we get to them, we can certainly make the inquiry and we'll point that out then. But right now, I don't have those numbers. So therefore, we're working a little bit, waiting for some additional information before we can solidify.
Okay.
One of the questions about, not question, I mean, but statements made about the insurance example. You could take the amount of employees that we have that are over 65 years of age and reimburse their extra costs for Medicare, Medicaid, the Plan B, Plan C, whatever that they need. Because it's a great benefit, but do the employees really need it when they have benefits that they can pay that out? And something you mentioned. I mean, because if we simply go ahead and just do something that small, that's a number that adds up because there's quite a few employees that are of that age or coming to that age. That was a good point of the insurance.
Something to look into.
Something to look into, but I know you said it very nicely the way you wanted to say it earlier about what the state legislators did, but unfortunately, though, that we haven't, if something has changed since then, the last amount last year for this year, if we would have increased last year's, not increase, I'm sorry, put a road tax in, a wheel tax in, the actual amount was the difference of what we would have lost is about the amount. So we would have lost about $1 million, we would have gained about $1 million plus or minus $100,000. So we had last year decided, either by no action, that we didn't increase, we did not, I hate to use, I'm wrong, I'm sorry, we did not implement a wheel tax. So where do we stand on that as far as the rule changes? Because I heard that there's another rule change in a rule change.
So when it comes to the wheel tax, how this works is it's all community crossings, right? But there's two avenues for community crossings. We can have our county planner produce a proposal, submit that to the state. State gives up to $1 million matching grant, right? And once that's been approved, and then they will distribute it once we make the funds for the other 50%. If you impose a wheel tax, the wheel tax gives you, one, the funds from the generation of the tax itself, and then it also gives you a lane mile distribution annually, which is approximately $1.7 million. That amount, those two amounts together, then allow us to function on projects and those sorts of things. It doesn't make any changes to a local road and street, MVH, major bridge, anything else that comes from the state. It is just two different ways to qualify for community crossings. They seem to be they're favorable to distribute more money to the counties on a guaranteed basis if you're making a step to self-fund with some level of taxing. And that's where the movement is. But the terminology that was clearly stated to me was, it's all community crossings. It's just two different groups that comes out of the community crossings. It's a matching grant or it's lane mile distribution.
But the first proposal was really a wash. The very first year would have been a wash, basically. How, is the grant changing that? Is that what you're saying, or what?
The grant is what we've always done.
Okay,
It's the lane mile distribution.
that'll change to 1.7 million instead of 1 million.
Exactly. You get,
So we're gonna look at 750, but see, we're not getting the full amount, but we're looking at what we lose plus that. So instead of $100,000, it's now $750,000.
yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And I meant, I like the way the distribution, because our state legislators could have put a wheel tax on the whole state anytime they wanted to. So it's great that that's what the idea is, but I wish there was some other ideas that they, that bag that they claim we can do.
Yeah.
What do they come up with? Tax 94, I-94, that's what road tax on I-94. That's not the best idea I've heard, but that's what they came up with. So how does everybody feel, Connie? I mean, we're allowed to talk about this. What does everybody feel about the wheel tax? Is this something we're going into this? Because these are the top 10 right now. There's 10 things that we've talked about. I'm just throwing it out there.
I can see both sides of it. I can see the positives of the fact that you don't go through the engineering work to come up with a proposal for something that you eventually get funding for the following year, right? It gives you the ability to have a stable plan, to have the lane mile distribution. And that's where I'm really looking at, is the advantage of the lane mile distribution. But putting that burden on the county as a whole when it's been funded by the state is where I have a major issue. But I think that's something that we need to put on to maybe more of a regular meeting discussion.
That's fine.
Or towards the end of today, maybe.
And then the last part of it was the taxes that we get for the fuel for our roads. So the legislators kicked this can down the road. We started going with electric cars, but then that's kind of somewhat phased itself out. But these hybrids are still reducing our tax on that. So we still haven't seen any movement on that, although we see our numbers being reduced by quite a bit. If anybody that's been on any committees or anything heard anything about that, we're supposed to make up for that money?
No.
There's proposals?
It gets talked about some at the national level, vehicle miles traveled being one way of taxing instead of the gas tax, but there's not a lot of traction on it. There's some states that have pilots. I think Utah and maybe Hawaii have pilots on this right now, where they're trying to tax based off of your miles driven rather than your amount of fuel that you're using at the gas pump, which obviously doesn't work for EVs. But yeah, it hasn't been rolled out nationally or anything. There's not really any movement towards that direction right now.
I mean, Mike, you've been in government a long time. Do you see any savings somewhere along the line that you think is a better idea? I'm just asking anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody new with a newer idea? Or?
No?
Okay. Well, you brought it up a couple months ago, so I just didn't.
All right. Anything else from anybody?
So can we at least look at what offices have to remain open, if you guys can, sometime before tomorrow's date, if we can put our thinking cap on what can shut down in Michigan City 2 days a week and still keep our courts going?
Really, the courts are probably the only thing which really do need to.
Mike?
Excuse me. Really, the courts are the only thing that really need to, I mean, you could take the treasurer's office out of there anytime. You can pay your taxes now at Horizon, or you can pay them online with a credit card. So the treasurer's office is, Michigan Township, the state is, they're looking at doing away with all the township offices. So the Michigan Township assessor would be gone if that happens. But those are the only two, everything else is courts there. The health department could always locate here. That's about it. That building is really for the courts, so
As far as,
you have to work with the judiciary to see
Adam, you're
if that could.
you're on that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could find out if they really need 5, can we go to a 4-day work week and then reduce it by 1 day at least, and so that,
How are you going to compensate for those workers that are there now?
we're gonna start, there's, some people are gonna start losing their job. Now, they won't get laid off, but they're gonna go and have to transfer to other departments. We're gonna reduce. I stated very clearly from the get-go. I'm not gonna lay them off on my vote, but we're gonna reduce the numbers, and they're going to either fill in positions where they gotta fill in. I said it's gonna happen over time. This is a 4-year plan. This is not a,
To your point, if I may, one of the things is, right now, when someone comes before you to replace an employee, do we really need to replace that employee, or can we try to do without, double up on some of the jobs?
It all depends as to which department it comes out of, in
Right.
my opinion.
well, I also heard, Adam, you've asked at least everybody here in the last year, and everybody says, of course they need my employee.
Yep.
So that's really not gonna be the answer. Will they come up with the answer themselves?
I think the long-timers can probably attest to, we definitely scrutinize it a lot more now than what we were just a couple of years ago.
But the good thing about it is we've kept it in place, and otherwise you could imagine what they wanted to do.
All right. Unless there's any other points that really need to be added. Mr. Sheriff.
Morning.
Good morning. Make sure your mic's on.
I believe it is.
All right, cool. All right, so, running down through your requested budget, the only places where I saw where there's some potential reductions, start on page 2. And I'm just gonna start listing off some changes, and I'll let folks comment as we go. I looked at postage and cutting that by half, just based off of 2025 expended and 2026 expended. Blueprinting, photography and blueprinting, down to 1,000. Dues, 1,000. Equipment radio, down to 2,000. Radio repairs, 8,000. Evidence acquisition, 8,000. And drug testing, 1,000. So, from looking at those, comments, thoughts, things that we need to take consideration of for 2027 that may have changed versus the previous 2 years that are listed here?
No, we're fine with that.
Any other comments from the rest of the council? Concerns with anything that I've thrown out there?
My question is if it's reduced, which I don't have a disagreement there, and the sheriff said that he could live with that, is he going to be coming back in the middle of the year to prep, most likely?
And like my opening comments, that's what I asked for, but if you look at each of those line items, we're not anywhere near 50% on those, nearly 50% of the budget expended for this year, and we didn't come anywhere close to the amount that I proposed in 2025. So it may have been, for lack of a better word, overfunded in previous years, and it comes down to planning, right? It comes down to how the previous 2 years before that were. And this is no disrespect or anything to how the sheriff's office is planned. It just is more along the lines of looking at it in different light.
Right. And those are, in the grand scheme of things, those are some minor cuts. We could probably subsidize some of these if we needed to with commissary
Okay.
moving forward. So I'm perfectly fine with that, with these cuts.
Okay.
Sometimes expenses for accounts don't come in on a regular monthly, basis or in the first half of the year. Are there any of these that would be, for some reason, just all of the expenses would come at the end of the year because that's when a contract
There's
is
a few
paid
of
or something
them,
like
some
that?
of the radio stuff, some of the computer licensing and everything come at the end of the year. That's why you'll see in some of our line items that nothing has been spent out of them yet, but by the end of the year, it will be because we get that invoice or that bill for the services.
If there's something that's getting paid in November, December, or whatever, and it's a contract like that where it's inevitable, I'd be interested in knowing that before we finalize the budget.
The stuff that you guys have mentioned here with some of the cuts aren't in any of that.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
All right. So I will,
Motion to approve with the changes that Mr. Karanka made. List those out because I wasn't writing down fast enough.
And all other 200s and 300s stay the same, correct?
Mr. Preston,
All other 200s and 300s stay the same is your intent, right?
Correct, yes.
so I have a motion,
A second.
not a second, and for clarity, Mr. Auditor, I don't know where you were at in catching up with some of those things I proposed?
I had them all in, and right now what I was doing is moving over the other 2 and 300s
Okay.
as we were talking and that. But I just wanted to get, in my records, for 105, you have, it was Mr. Pressel, and the second was,
Me.
thank you. Yes, sir.
Kessler, and you caught the line item changes that I'm.
I got every one of the line item changes as you were saying them.
All right.
And then he agreed to them, otherwise I would have put them.
Perfect. All right, so I have a motion and a second for 2s and 3s with the changes I listed before. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right.
Okay, then I propose we cut 5% across the board.
Okay.
Can't just talk about it.
Now, Mr. Auditor, would it be appropriate for us to jump down to the lit items? Since those are listed out in a separate
And then
page.
under lit, you're gonna find, jail, and then you're gonna find, courthouse security, so this
Numbers
way
that?
everything is quick. So just the next tab down.
Lit, public safety, perfect.
What number's lit?
It's the very next page is going to be lit public safety 1170. So we have 105, we have 145, and then we have the one item for 144, which would be a separate item. So looking through here, Mr. Sheriff, looking at the extra hire part-time seasonal, there was none that was budgeted out of lit for 2025, but we expended about $124,000. We budgeted $97,000 this year, but we're at $17,000. You expect to where we're going to dive into that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By how much do we expect by the end of year?
Well, let me find my notes here on that. Are you talking about the 145 with the part-time seasonal hire?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we've had some, we had overtime in the regular budget, and then we have overtime in the lit with that as well, too.
Okay.
With the regular budget, I believe we've got all that spent, and then with the lit portion of it, we've got quite a bit of it spent as well, too, for the jail overtime.
Looking at the 105, there's actually,
Are you talking about 105, or are you talking about 145?
well, you see where you're at now. Thank you.
The 105 overtime, we're in a pretty good place right now, but the 145 overtime is the jail overtime.
All right. How about the food expense in the 145 that's coming out of lit? Second row from the bottom. Right now it shows 516 budgeted, 147 spent.
I asked the sheriff about this over the weekend, and he indicated that they spend first out of their general fund appropriation for food, and then they move to lit. So it looks like less than half, just because it's pulled from one bucket then the next.
Okay. Technical software support for 105. Looks like we've spent the entire budget already at 60,000 flat.
Those are licensing fees for the computers and the program, software, report management system.
Okay. So those just contracts, basically.
Yep.
Okay. And vehicles, so we've got 665 budgeted, 632 spent, and you're, same thing for next year. How many are we looking at?
Next year, we're probably looking about 12. We got 13 this year. Next year, we're looking about 12, about the same amount.
Okay.
My question on the cars, is it following a normal process now where you try to get it in by April and so?
Yeah, the process has improved greatly over the last year or so. I know there was times that we would order and we wouldn't see the cars till the next year, because there was such a backlog. This year, we made the order first of the year, and our last set of cars just came in about 2 weeks ago. So it's improved. It's still slow.
And I know, I don't want to cut the cost of cars that you drive for the road officers, but if you extended these cars, so we're probably going to get ourselves in somewhat of good shape at some point.
Oh, absolutely. I think
Because by default, we waited a year because we didn't have cars available or whatever.
correct. So we're just still trying to play catch up from that a little bit. But after next year, we should be in a really good position and a really good place with our cars.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. So, any questions, suggestions related to 1170 public safety?
Just on meals, I see there was an increase in that. Do you still do an annual contract with the?
Yep. And that's just the increase for the food is just the consumer price index increase that they come to us with for the year, and that was the reason for the increase in the food, Mike.
And do you put it out for bid to see if there's any other companies that?
We have not. We're still using the current company, but they also give us a 5-cent per meal discount because we also do commissary service with them.
All right.
I also asked the sheriff this over the weekend, but I'll draw attention to it now. The amount that's requested for pension benefits is lower this year.
Is lower.
You mentioned that this is because of the
That's
market
lower
doing
by
well.
$24,006, and that's because the stock market has obviously been really good over the last couple of years. So it did go down a little bit.
We like that.
We like that.
Entertain a motion.
Would just like to comment on the pension. Why I still feel that having our present advisor with Dilts and Associates has really helped a lot with over the years. I think that money that we spend for him to handle basically that or advise, why really it makes a big difference on how the.
Couldn't agree with you more. Yep.
I'd make a motion to approve the items for 105 and 145 for the 100 or the 200s and 300 accounts
I'm sorry.
as requested
I thought we were on the public safety list.
on the public safety list, but the ones that are labeled 105 and 145, which is basically everything.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, under notes.
Thank you. You're talking
All right.
under object.
Yeah.
So I have a motion by Mr. Keel for 100s and 200s for departments 105 and 145.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Mr. Otter, it seems that we don't have the 145 tab in
Yeah, I couldn't
some
find
of
it.
our books here.
Yeah, I couldn't find it either.
Could you print that out for those of us that don't have a computer up right now? I just was able to find it on the Excel.
Hold on one second.
It was 144 and
The
then,
jail.
It's right here. It's all bundled into that same list.
It should be right
It's in
after
the
the
public
list.
safety
Back
lift
here.
tab.
It's
underneath its own.
In tab is the list.
tab.
That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Got it.
1170.
There we are.
We just didn't go far enough.
1170.
All right.
Keep flipping.
So we'll go
Is
to,
that 1170?
let's go to jail, since we were talking 145s. So we see now, Mr. Sheriff, where you're talking about the extra part-time seasonal, where you've got that pretty well expended. down on the second page, fourth row from the bottom, you get to employee education and training. Looks like we've spent 6,500 of the 7,500. Do you expect that 7,500 is going to be enough for you for the year? Okay.
Yeah.
And dental is a contract?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Professional services, I'm guessing, is your inmate medical expenses.
That's correct.
Do you guys go through like a procurement process for that?
We just, yeah, we do. And long story short, yes.
Do they do that on a bid also? Mm-hmm. So that's every year?
It's not every year, it's every couple of years. We always relook at it.
Okay. So they upped it about 100,000 and the 150,000.
Any further thoughts or questions?
I'd make a motion to approve the account 145 for the 200s and 300s as requested.
Motion by Mr. Keel to approve the 200s and 300s.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressel. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Let's go to back to county garage. So that was up the page. Overtime, mechanics. This increase in the tool stipend, that's what we did early in the year, based off of
Correct.
Mr. Mullenhour's proposal.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve that count on County Garage 141.
All right, twos and threes?
Yes.
All right, motion approved by twos and threes for county garage by Mr. Mullenhour. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Heath. All in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Thank you. And last but not least, courthouse security. So for the last 2 years, you've had maintenance contracts for $9,000, we've expended zero. What kind of equipment would we have maintenance contracts for related to security?
It'd be on the, like the magnetometers, the x-ray machines, the key fobs and everything.
All right,
Vaguely recall your metal detectors are fairly new, right?
Yes, correct.
Not a lot of maintenance, I guess.
Not yet.
doesn't take long sometimes. Same with repairs to equipment. Obviously, I think it's unplanned, but these are small amounts in my mind.
Councilman Yagelski has floated the idea of moving to hiring private security for our courthouse security. I imagine you have thoughts about that.
Considering it's the first time I heard it was this morning, I would just be cautious. Obviously, you get what you pay for, and if we're trying to cut costs, I mean, I think we saw that out at the fair several years ago when they hired private security out there, then realized they weren't getting what they are actually paying for, and they've got rid of that. So just be cautious. I'd like to have further discussions on that down the road as we look at that versus giving you some more time to chew on that a little bit.
I'd just like to comment, took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to point out for an example on the fair, that was during my tenure, and you get what you pay for. That was a fiasco and a mess. And again, I'll repeat what he said, you get what you pay for.
I think Mr. Kessler would agree with us on that.
That I would.
But it's good if you guys mentioned the fair, but if you guys want to go to, I don't know, University of Chicago, Presbyterian Church, Hospital, those run real well. I've got numerous trips there, and I guess you guys need to go and think out of the box somewhere. If we want to sit there and say it doesn't work, then it's never going to not work. where it works in major corporations, not at hospitals 5 times the size of our buildings. But
I can't disagree with that, and I know the fair that it depends which company you're looking at, and
You
I
gotta
think
look at it.
we'll see what kind of cost savings, and it's worth discussing, but I think we'd have to be very, very cautious.
I suspect there's some different hiring and staffing challenges for a contractor like that who's just doing the fair for a week, as opposed to someone who's looking for people who will staff a location year-round. I suspect how they go about hiring people for that is a little bit different.
Ally is a major corporation for the United States, and that's 2 of the hospitals use those. But you can go into the steel mills or into the NIPSCO or anything that's security-wise. And so it's just a proposal to look at. We have to look at somewhere. So.
Yep. Okay. Any other discussion related to courthouse security?
Motion to approve 2s and 3s.
Motion to approve 2s and 3s by Mr. Kessler.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Heath. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Sheriff?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to the Board of Commissioners.
143.
Gentlemen?
Morning.
Morning. All right, starting out similarly to what we did with the sheriff earlier, I obviously have my notes, and I'll let folks argue with me as you see fit. Looking at mileage, consider cutting that to 3,000. Publishing, I'd consider cutting that back to what was expended in 2025, which is just under 13,000. So I'd just round it up to 13.
Excuse me, what was that, publishing?
Publishing. Page 2, about 6 or 8 from the bottom. And then employee life insurance. Not sure where these figures come from, but where we're at right now, 200,000 should cover us for the year plus some room. So I was thinking cutting that to 200,000. Any thoughts on any of those immediately?
If that's what you're coming up with, provided we don't hire any more people. I mean, we provide insurance for all the employees.
This is purely just the life insurance.
Just life insurance, correct, yes.
Okay.
$50,000 of coverage.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd ask the auditor's office if they're able to look up, is this include 6 months worth of bills? I know sometimes, maybe they're slow getting to us or something from big corporations like that. If that was 5 months.
We just signed one the other
Very
day.
hard this year to close it at 6:30. Therefore, I would anticipate that this is 6 months worth of bills.
Okay.
We just signed one the other day, and the claims.
Okay.
I think the publishing and employee life insurance shouldn't be an issue. The mileage, that can vary depend on how many conferences there are per year, how many folks are going, where they're going to. So trimming it back a little bit, not a problem. Just keep in mind that we may have to come back for that depending on exactly what there is for the year.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, you're forecasted right now to spend 1,500 if the rates are the same. And of course, there's things that make it not a linear behavior through the year. And then the previous year was 2,100 expended.
What was your proposal for employee life insurance?
200.
200.
I know that we kind of stepped over to 100 count. Can I ask a question on the 100 count, please?
Absolutely.
So I know that temporarily, at least, we haven't fully supported it or did support it. The veterans officer was full-time, one officer, and now the guys working for Michigan City part-time, plus we hired full-time. So is this reflected of both those employees?
The salary for the part-time, which when we appointed Mr. Uziak, the part-time was only going to be temporary till he helped to make adjustments. So I think that will eventually go away here in probably another 30 days.
Okay. I don't know if that's his idea.
He may not be happy with that, but looking at the numbers, it's kind of hard to justify that extra part-time help back.
And he does have a job at Porter County if he wants, I mean, he told me that, so
Yes.
he can go somewhere else. It's not like he's not, he was going to do that anyway, but it's, so these are not reflective of that right now, so. Thank you.
If you all were going to drop that, then
Talk to the mic.
sorry, the thought was on part of that to have, VSO officer be able to visit occasionally Michigan City 1 to 2 days a week part-time. But, obviously if you guys drop that off, we won't be able to do that, just FYI.
Don is stepping up, and he's making home visits when he has to, and he's got quite a busy appointment schedule, so, but so far the numbers have not justified keeping a part-time staff over there all the time. Even 3 days a week, I don't think they're showing the numbers there.
There's two on this first page I'm looking at that are actually overspent for their budget for this current year. Unemployment compensation looks like 22,000 is expended out of 20,000, and for postage, 126,000 expended out of 120,000. Are you guys transferring from some of your other accounts in order to?
The OASDI.
The postage, I can tell you for a fact, has never been correct. We do postage for way too many offices. And again, they just raised it, I think another 4 cents on first class stamp, and I really have to question how much longer we're gonna have a postal service in this country anyway, unless they get their head together.
But where was the postage transfer coming from?
I don't have that on here.
Diane, could,
Telephone.
Commissioner Hollyfield, I mean, you understand though that coming out of one office, at least we know where the bills are going to.
it somewhat makes sense, but from a business perspective, it doesn't. I mean, that would be like me paying for postage for my neighbor to use my machine, stuff like that. If your individual offices kept track closer, I just think they would have an idea then that, hey, we're getting close, let's find out why. I mean, why does the sheriff's department pay for our fuel?
We've learned even with skipping the postage, other things that we try to centralize. Let's just use contracts for copiers and so on and so forth. Once we centralize, we actually have, it's a savings. If you looked at all our stuff in the past, that was a slush fund. So I hate to say it, but that's what, so a lot of departments still took the money and used it, just we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because, so.
It somewhat makes sense, but centralized government, reeks of socialism, communism to me, so that's what, I don't like to use that word.
Okay. I won't touch that.
All right.
Yeah.
Didn't think we were going there.
Social Democrats.
So unemployment, in 2025, we expended nearly $50,000. We're on our way to about $45,000 for this year. Are we better off taking this up to 40 or 50,000? I'm asking that from my peers.
We discussed that earlier.
For budgeting, probably. I mean, hopefully some of the situations that we faced this previous year don't continue to crop up. I think this was a higher than normal year, so maybe splitting the middle. If you wanted to bring possibly more accurate, splitting the middle maybe at 30 might be better than 40, and hoping that next year will, this coming year will be better, but there were a couple of unique situations that we dealt with this year that weren't quite reflected in previous years, so.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Auditor.
I would say that you would not need to, that as long as there's going to be funds in the OASDI, we can transfer them over. The reason for why I say that is because we are budgeting the OASDI as if everybody's going to be working every day of the year, and we know that doesn't happen. But if we don't do that, we don't have the funds available. We've had to come in the past to you and get almost $1 million for payroll taxes. So we didn't, that's why we have it at the full amount. And when we ever figure out the raise, this will go up again. So there's enough room in there to move over if it's going to be that way, or we can always pinch a little bit off of that if you want to make it an extra 15,000 or 20,000, whatever you're thinking of. But I don't think you need to find new money for it. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
So one of the questions on legal fees, since that's a pretty good chunk of, I know that so many commissioners have taken the battle on with changing firms, but we really haven't seen any savings. Is there is there something that we should have seen some savings that we haven't seen in the past where there was some claim?
From what I've seen, we basically get a litigation or a tort claim on a weekly basis almost, and we have to defend ourselves on that.
I don't disagree.
Mr. DiMartino has cut his rate down to a flat rate, and the savings there should be there. Legal expenses, I think something that's going to have to be addressed no matter what. I mean, we have to pay for them.
So I have no problem with paying it, just that we went from, 3 years ago, there was some talk, and then we switched about 3 years ago, right, to whatever year it was that you switched over attorneys. So if you went to a flat.
We've had a few different attorneys over the past 3 years.
Pardon?
We've had 3 different attorneys over the past three years, roughly.
Correct, but I know that some of you taken a stance on trying to get those costs down, but we really haven't seen the cost difference. That's my point.
So I think you have to look at 2 different portions here. So you have your litigation versus non-litigation portion, right? So when it comes to the things that are being litigated, the lawsuits versus, various lawsuits that come in for everything from somebody ran a stop sign and now they want to sue the county because the stop sign, whatever the case may be, the amount of lawsuits we get out of the jail, most of them are frivolous, obviously. When you look at all those are things that, we can't control when someone files a lawsuit. The other side of it, for the non-litigation side, I think we've actually seen savings over this past year or two. Especially considering when you go back and you look at how much money the county was paying out, I mean, $400,000+ a year back in like 2021, 2022, to now, we've cut that, nearly in half. So I think we've seen significant savings on the side that we can control. On the other side, when it comes to people wanting to sue, there's not much we can do about that.
Shouldn't, correct me if I'm wrong, shouldn't those all kind of take a wash if you take a 4-year or 5-year, or you're just seeing a steady 100% increase in lawsuits?
I think something else we're going to have to be looking at here in the near future, and I've made a statement of before. We lost Doug Beege in the Plan Commission and the BZA just basically because he's tired of working for what little pittance we're going to have. And I think that's something we're going to have to address in the future. We may have to pay these rates that they're used to keep law offices for our lawyers for the services.
But bringing in, for example, Mr. Beege, I wouldn't call that little pittance. I'm sorry, I disagree with your comment, but that's okay. I can do that.
That's fine. You can
Little pittance is not working for sub wages. That's for sure. He's ready, senior, retiring, 10 years up there, so he wanted to get out anyway. We brought him in to the county council. He goes, Mark, this is short term. So I wouldn't go pittance there. We're not.
Well, but then again,
he's not getting minimum wage. I guarantee you that.
I know he's not getting minimum wage, but then again, like I said, from my aspect, if I was going to go bale hay and the guy told me, well, you're going to make a round bill for $8 a bale. I said, no, I'm not. I charge 15. He can take it or leave it. And I think that's what's going to happen here eventually in our legal services in this county. Just my personal opinion, from a business standpoint.
Just as a quick comment, the reason why we're in this situation is because they shut down the schools. They got Valparaiso, where we have less and less attorneys. So what it was that was always a young guy's game or young woman's game coming into it. But they do well with guaranteed money coming out of government, trust me.
So at the end of all this, do you have a suggestion of what you'd like to
reduce it? But
okay.
Yes.
So what's your number?
10 by 10,000. 10K.
Let's see here, legal fees. So you're suggesting take that to 230?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any others? So as keeping score here, best I can. From the suggestion of the auditor's office, keep unemployment compensation at the 20 based off what's going on with the transfers out of OSDAI.
It's a one account, so do you want to?
Yeah, we'll just for everything we've discussed up here. Postage. I have 130,000 here based off my notes from yesterday. Does anybody disagree with that? All right, 130 at postage, 3,000 at mileage, 230 for legal fees, 13,000 for publishing, and 200,000 for employee life insurance. Did I miss anything anybody suggested?
Sounds correct.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski,
Second that.
second by Mr. Kessler. Mr. Otter, you had a comment?
Yeah, you didn't address the liability insurance. It looks like there is some premiums listed there for the current year, which came in afterwards, and they're significantly higher. I didn't know if you want to entertain a discussion now about it, because otherwise it could be deemed as a shortfall.
Are you looking at the
Currently, we're going to have to come before you guys for distribution to cover those bills. Because as everybody else knows, insurance goes up regularly.
So I see $0 for liability and accident insurance premium, and I see $0 expended out of liability accident claim pool. Those are the two you're talking about?
The 3067?
67 and 68 are both zero expended.
Oh, zero.
I have a sneaky suspicion it's not zero.
No, it's not.
No, the
Trust me,
payments,
it's not.
actually, the payments have just been coming out in the past month, so they may have hit the July 1st budget. It's
Mike.
probably happened.
This is the one we transfer. These two, the liability insurance and the accident liability, the way that's been set up, and Mark can verify this, is that for many years, prior to when I took office as auditor, what the council does is they appropriate $500,000 in each fund, basically, one is $1 less, and we transfer these numbers, the 30067 and the 30068, to 47, the fund numbers 4700 and 4701. And we did that so that we can keep track of the expenses better for both insurances. In the past 4 years before Mike's administration, it wasn't, the last 2 years of that administration, it was not done correctly, and things were taken out of there that should not have been taken out of there, and consequently, on our audit, it showed a negative remark.
Okay.
So in 2025, at the end of 2025, we went back to using the 4700 and the 4701. So if you come to our office and you look at that, you can see every expenditure that was there.
So at the end of the day, we have $1,662,973 for the 30067 and $1,434,865 for the 3068 requested.
It's $3,097,838
Okay.
combined.
Are those the right amounts?
It's probably, yeah, they are probably the right amounts because they've been added to
Yeah, and the only thing that
the
we
last couple of years.
sometimes get hit with workman comp audit,
Yeah.
Okay.
additional afterwards. So we would have to pull the 4700 and 4701 to see the expenses for you.
Are you sure this came up in our 2024 audit? Because I'm looking at it right now and I'm not seeing 4700 or 4701.
Because it wasn't used in '24.
There was
Audit.
a $600,000 discrepancy that they pointed out. I can't tell you the exact place it was in, but yes, they said there was in fact, they came and talked to us again about it this year. So, but we've corrected that so that it's, prior to us correcting this, there were things taken out of that, and to no one's fault, but things taken out of that should not have been taken out. Those were strictly for the insurance, the self-insurance that we have, and the self-liability that we have. So we were always trying to keep track of those costs.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick question, sir.
Yes, Mr. Yagowski.
Self-insurance.
You should be good with those numbers then.
Isn't the key fobs coming out of your budget? Where's that at? Where's that at in our,
Key fobs in our budget, Diane? Out of telephones.
listen to telephone? So where do we stand on that? Because we're getting budgeting for next year on let's just call it the time clock system, whatever you guys want to call it, but
Yes.
The time management system, I personally think that's going to be an outstanding way to save money.
I know I'm just trying to come up with, okay, it's going to come out of telephone, apparently, that's where it's at. So where do we stand on that?
As far as the telephone?
No, as far as the time clock management.
May I?
It's up to you guys.
No, it's up to commissioners, but
It hasn't been presented to them yet. We have one more this Friday. We have another company that we're looking at to save money. We've looked at two. One of them came in extremely high. The other one came in what I considered a little bit high, and then I'm expecting this one to be possibly the lowest. The problem is we were attempting to do everything all in one, also to do scheduling for several departments, 911, the sheriff's office, EMS, and it doesn't work. We can't find one company that can do it all without it being super expensive. They are currently using their own scheduling software, which works very well for them at a very low cost. So that's where we stand. We'll know better within a month.
I thought they had presentations between both of us last year, and nothing was done. And the way I understand it is because there was you guys didn't want to fund it.
It's never hasn't come to us.
No, it wasn't.
Enthusiastic about funding.
Was it last year? Who was the presentation to last year, Mike?
Okay.
Wasn't it to both of us?
It was the way we had everybody here in this room. That was only one. That was the very first company,
okay.
just to get the buy-in, and that was at the end of 25 because we didn't start the project until the last quarter.
Okay.
Because by the time we could get them in, but that was only one.
Okay, I knew we had somebody
We were
present
trying to
something
get
to
to three, but I was trying to be very selective because even before I took office, they looked at others, but they were coming in at well over $300,000 a year, and we're looking at less than $100,000 right now.
Okay.
And implementation will be a bump, a piece of maybe $50,000, and so we're just looking for something long-term cost.
So, for at the end of the day, folks, we're getting a little long-winded on things when we're supposed to be getting on budgets. The long and short of it is, once they have a presentation, the council is very excited to see something.
Good. I hope so.
Just one other last comment. One of the reasons why there's been a lag is that I'm hoping that there's going to be a change in the employee handbook that will, and I've suggested some, and I know they're working on it, and hard part is to implement an old system and then change the system. So, and one of them's got to do with accruing vacation, the way it would be accrued, and that's a critical piece of it.
Yeah.
So, as that moves forward, then that will make it much easier to come up with a presentation to you.
All right.
But we may just go ahead anyway because we can't keep delaying this any further. Because even if we go sign somebody today, we may not be able to start until sometime in 27.
Understood. All right.
Since it impacts the motion, going back to the liability accident premium and claim pool, does this amount need to be increased? Because this is a pretty sizable amount, so even a 5% increase would be significant. Does the amount need to go up?
I think if you're using this for now, and if we get more information, you can always adjust it before we close out the budget.
Okay.
Before you approve
Did
the
you
budget.
check into that if you expect
We
it to?
will be looking at it with the Commissioner's office.
Very good.
Okay. Very quickly, and just to talk about the vacation time aspect, are we going to hit that in a minute, or?
Well, does it affect any line item on the budget?
It doesn't, but just for a cost savings perspective and to be able to accrue things in real time if we're going to a management system, just something for you guys to consider. I've spoken with a lot of employees about this, and coming out of the private sector, moving from sick days and vacation days to a PTO system that would accrue in real time rather than dumping, 3 weeks vacation on somebody on January 1st, moving to a system where PTO would accrue in real time, and you might do this where you're at as well. That could be something that would benefit both the employees and us at the same time. So I would hope you guys would keep that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, that time management, because we've also got people that are now negative on sick days and vacation days because no one's keeping track of it.
It's not okay. It is not okay. All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry,
from
who was the
council?
motion, please?
So the motion was,
Made by,
myself,
it was Mr. Yagowski, followed by,
because there was a 5% reduction, that's why.
and the second,
Mr. Kessler.
Can we restate the motion just so we're clear exactly what we're
Because I'm
going down the line? Yeah.
so, 2s and 3s. We're looking at postage at 130. I've got mileage at 3,000, legal fees 2,300. Or excuse me,
230,000.
230,000. Yeah, wow. Yeah, there you go, Mark.
Go 2,300.
Right, we're gonna work there. Publishing, 13,000, and employee life insurance, 200,000.
I don't think that cutting the legal fees is really going to be realistic. They keep going up, and they're just moving money around in order to fund it. So we're lying to ourselves if we think that that's what it's actually going to cost. It's just going to get pulled from somewhere else. So I'm going to make a motion to amend, leave everything else the same, but change the 230 back to 240, and just vote that separate, and then go back to the rest of the motion.
So motion for a friendly, motion to amend by Mr. Keel. Do I have a second? Anyone?
I'll second because I think he's right.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor of amending the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Yeah, 4-3.
He's looking at the first.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because it's important for us to track who, so we get the names right.
Okay, so now back to the original motion. Mr. Otter, are you good on the changes that were suggested from the original motion that were now
I've
amended?
got them in.
All right, so,
5%. That 5% ain't doing it.
so all in favor of the original motion as previously read twice, plus amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, moving on to the prosecutor's office. What are they, 106, 10, something?
That was a 6-1.
108, thank
What
you.
number is the prosecutor?
So, I'm gonna keep this close.
Make it church.
Mr. Fagan. Morning. Good morning.
Sure.
Mr. DiMartino will be back.
Okay,
He's right here. No dog.
so, as I've sat going through your proposals here, I've seen some pretty stark reductions I just want to ask about real quick. And these, even though we're not talking about 100s in terms of approvals today, that's one place I want to start. Deputy prosecuting attorney. You're on track right now to expend close to 800,000 of the 863 that was adopted, but you want to reduce it down to 726?
Well, what I did was one of those positions was a 85,000 deputy position that was not being filled. Our 2-year VOCA grant, which is the primary funder of our victim advocates, we're working through that process. The grant was renewed. We're looking at a $90,000 shortfall. So in order to, since the victim advocates are the front-facing people of our office, they're the ones who mainly interact with the victims and such, and since we have a statutory responsibility to provide some kind of line of communication with victims, it made sense in order to fully fund that was to defund certain positions, move that funding over to cover that shortfall, so we're fully staffed for victim advocates to make up for that shortfall. Also, in communication with some of you, the general perspective of the council was, hey, be ready for, look with cost savings in the future. So any cuts that you see have been with that in mind, moving money around that wasn't spent, that was appropriated, but not spent for, part of it in 25, part of it in 26, to move that money to either have cost savings through attrition or to use it to offset funding shortages within some of our federal grants.
Okay. So how many positions are you reducing in the deputy prosecutor in order to fund the victim advocate?
I think 1 or 2.
Which is it, 1 or 2?
I don't know off the top of my head. It's,
I mean,
Because I think that's important for us to know.
looking at the amount, right, it's roughly $140,000. What's,
well, the one funded, well, part of that, I think maybe one or two, if I think about it, but let's just assume two. But one of those positions was not being filled. And those monies were used to generate, like I said, cuts and offset for the victim advocates.
okay. Looking at telephone, I mean, I see that could easily get cut down to 2,000, if not lower. I mean, minor item, but that's what I'm recommending. Maintenance and repairs, in 2025, you spent $600. In 2026, you're right about there, halfway through. If we reduce that to 1,500, it may not be a bad thing. Your cost to spend, it's always $90,000 on the dot, and it's looks like it's already been expended. Is that a prepayment or something?
That's money that, it's basically money that the county has appropriated for CASA. It just needs a home. Used to be with the courts. It got transferred over to the prosecutor's office.
Took all the VSOs off, and then
Yeah.
it went.
We don't spend it. We don't touch it. It just goes straight to victim.
So it
family.
comes through you, gets quick transferred
Yeah,
over to the courts?
pretty much.
Got it. So it happens on January 1st or something like that, I'm assuming?
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
All right, that's the last page of the 108,
Sorry.
so go ahead.
I hate to have to use other means, but I believe that the other employees you have, not the prosecuting office, not your state-funded employees, work still for the county. I've asked every department, the commissioners put it in there, that your employees need to do security testing, like we all did, but I was told that your department will not allow it. So can you tell me you will allow your employees to do cyber security testing, and all you got to do is take a simple test, watch it?
I'm not familiar with.
It's got to go through you because you filter out the email, so your employees are not getting that. So what I need to do is just say that you're willing to allow that they will do. They'll watch a short video and take a test so that they understand what could happen with cybersecurity.
Oh, you mean like phishing and
All that, all the above.
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes common sense to me.
I know, but
I'm not aware of that no one has brought to my attention that there needed to be any testing, but if it's so, I mean, that
okay,
makes sense to me.
That's perfectly fine, because I was told that, they don't work for us, they work for you, and that's not, so you're going to have to release that video, and Darlene will send that to you then.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever Darlene thinks.
Thank you.
Your line item 3120 has been zero, and this year you've got budget requests of 25,000. Care to explain?
That's the email system, computer system that we have. That's part of the cost. What we did, since, we had these discussions, it was being funded out of Riverboat. After conversations with some of you, the best plan was, after those funds had run out for this year, instead of coming back and, further draining very precious tax dollars or receipts from other things, it made sense to take some of that cost on ourselves for the rest of the year. And then part of the discussion was to have, any, funding for 27 and beyond during budget hearings. So what we did was, since part of, it's basically the division of labor for the emails, or that whole computer system, because it's not just emails, is part of it, the fund that's the part that is used by the criminal side, will fund that out of 108. The part that's out of child support uses, will fund that out of 137. By doing that, instead of funding it out of, other different funds, it's a lot easier for reimbursement purposes, because on the breakdown, it's about 2 to 1. Since we have more employees in 108 than 137, the $137 we can get reimbursed to 2/3 at 67%. So that made sense to me, overall, we kept our budget lower within that 5 to 10% mandate. You know, it's a little bit more than 5, it's a little bit less than 10, somewhere in there. Overall the budget, and then, but still, you know, since that to maintain it and to have that funding there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
During these budget workshops, we typically are mostly looking at 200s and 300s, but asking about your 100s and the reductions that you're proposing here, I mean, there's, I think, a public perception and maybe even a reality that crime is up in Michigan City to shootings involving police officers in recent months. Is it prudent to cut prosecutorial capacity at a time where crime is perceived to be high?
I would say that while for some folks perception is reality, I would say that overall, based on Michigan City Police's statistics, these are not mine, these are not self-serving, these are publicly available numbers that have been mentioned in media and in public meetings. Crime went down in 2023 versus 2022, 17%. That's a fact. It went down 7% in 2024. Recently, in June, I believe, Chief Forker said, hey, crime went down 4.5% overall in 2025. Now, while there have been flashpoint incidents such as, there were more murders in 2025 in Michigan City than in other years. Some of those involved in officer-involved shootings, so that's a homicide, so that got included into that number. Also, you had high-profile events with Deputy Samuelson, Trooper Heflin, just the other day. So while there are high visibility incidents in Michigan City, crime statistically overall, that's the thing, overall has gone down for 3 consecutive years. So given that I have managed my budget and I manage it well, I made cuts in certain places that would not risk operations for the office as a whole. That was that because, if you cut too much, you're going to cut to the marrow, and that would put public safety at risk. But in order, I don't want my taxes going up, and we're all facing the reality of SB 1 affecting LaPorte County as a whole. So in order to save jobs for the county and to maintain operations at a significant level, I made cuts through attrition so that would not affect current employees. So no employees are getting cut. It's things in certain places that are strategic that won't hurt current efficiency. So if we're doing, I don't know about you, but from a statistical standpoint, I've been, as you can see, as many of you know personally or know through when you come in office, my budget has relatively stayed the same or even gone down over the last 3 years, and yet we've managed to overall within, even if you look at the sheriff's report, crime is down in that. Certain categories are up versus others. That's in any crime report that you see. But by maintaining fiscal discipline, by maintaining, good operational standpoints, we're able to be very effective and efficient with what we have, with resources that we have.
So as you're cut some of these positions that you're talking about, is everybody is going to filter the work on to the other employees they're going to have to make up for? Is that what you're looking at right now?
Can you repeat that again?
So you're cutting, you said that one position, 2 positions. So,
well, one of the for the deputy positions, one of those was not filled since 25 and into 26. So
then the one that is proposed to be cut, plus that one, is that work just being reassigned to other employees?
Yes, sir.
Could you get us, because I know you have the numbers of statistics of Michigan City, because that's not the numbers that I've seen, so I'm curious where those numbers came from.
Well, those are maintained, Chief Forker at a city.
I know you can get if you can get us a copy, that would be great.
Sure.
that we appreciate it. Because I don't see those numbers that we're talking about.
I'd definitely like to see them too, and I guess I still have
Asking that question, but
concerns about, I mean, some of the crimes like shootings and murders in general are very intensive, resource-intensive things to prosecute for obvious reasons. So if those have gone up, I would expect that you would have more man-hours going into this sort of thing. I do appreciate the effort to cut, but I also don't want to see your the office's ability to prosecute crime impeded in any way. But we're also only working on 200s and 300s today, so this will come up again in the future. So,
Motion to approve 2s and 3s for 108.
there was some amendments in there, right?
Yeah, well, I had a couple of suggestions. If you
Well,
want us to
but
go with-
no, I meant for with the 2,000 on the telephone. And what was the
1,500 on
1,500, sorry.
maintenance and repairs. So, motion with my changes from Mr. Kessler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
nay.
All right, let's go to pretrial diversion. Yeah, no worries. 2501. So we have mostly 100s. Other supplies. So obviously council is involved with this, or there's no other way to move it around. 166,296 expended for other supplies. And now there's a budget for 122,000, which is in line with what we did in 2025. Can you refresh my memory?
Additional appropriations, when we fund projects and stuff, it all comes out of that claims account. The other supplies, they did something in, it's basically all the same thing. So when we need, if we need to buy equipment, stuff like that, it comes out of claim.
But excuse me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr.
So your
Bilski.
example, like you gave money to Trail Creek for those signs that give speed limits or something like that, whatever.
Computers for their
Where does
police
it,
department.
yeah, but that doesn't come out of this one. That increase doesn't come out of this number. You don't generally every year give that number varies what you give out. That number changes.
But it's the same line item. So when basically from 2,500 to 2,501, it's an additional appropriation that goes from the unappropriated PTD fund into 2,501. That's the line item that it goes into.
So all the things that you last year appropriated for 2026, that went up compared to every year was steady?
Well, the 122 is the baseline that's been the number there for years. So when we do additional appropriations, it should be reflected within that number. So when you're seeing the expended for 2025, that should be it, as far as I'm aware. And
Well,
some of that,
some doesn't seem. Maybe you're just not familiar with maybe this one particular account, because you steadfast at 122 for a couple of years, to then went to 166. That can't be just your extra appropriations.
well, I mean, if you look at 25, the adopted budget, the requested budget, 122. That's what we do every year. That's the claims. 197 was what was expended. That includes the additional appropriations. If you look at the 2026 expended, that includes that number. The 122 is the baseline that we use just for numbers.
But if that's the baseline that you use and you're already at 166, 296 this year, that makes it look like you're on track for over $300,000 in spending.
Something's wrong here. Auditor, can you see anything on that line item that would have, because the numbers aren't,
Concerning.
it's not jiving here.
This is the 20021 out of 2501.
Could you send us the ledger for it?
I'm sorry.
Could you send us the ledger for it, just so we can see like what they were for?
I am trying to pull up the financial right now. Just takes a moment.
Something doesn't sound right. That's not the money he's giving away.
Are there any other questions regarding pretrial diversion besides what Mike's looking up right now? So would anyone be opposed to jumping up to 4D while we have them
Yep.
here?
Thank you.
And then we'll go back to 2501, just for the essence of time. All right, so 4D is, let's see here.
136.
Trash. Publics.
Computers. 40, next.
Any questions or concerns related to 4D?
Is trash disposal in here like some sort of specialized shredding or something? Is that why that's a special line item?
And again, it's reimbursed at 67% rate.
And then what is other services and charges there for $12,000?
Like I was saying earlier, the cost of the
The email server
communicate,
again?
and it's not just, emails, it's data retention, stuff like that.
So we're at 37,000.
And even though we're talking about 2s and 3s today, I'd see reduction in deputy prosecuting attorney from 135,933 to 84,434. That's another one of those attrition positions. Is this a?
Well, in the interest of, not just saying making the criminal side bear the brunt of all the cuts. So overall, the office between 5 and 10% overall.
Okay.
Some of that can be supplemented by incentive funds, whether it's from the prosecutor's office or the counties, because there are 3 different incentive funds. Because you can cut up to a certain point, and then if you go over that, then that's bad. But for the number crunchers downstate and for the feds. So that can be supplemented by incentive funds, whether it's the commissioner's fund or my own incentive fund to supplement any funding lag. So in order to, we've been very good about not spending and money reverting back to the general fund. Our investigator position was vacated in August of 2025. It's not going to be filled this year. And I didn't fill it because I didn't know exactly what the budget situation was. That's about 80 to 120, that's about 100 plus that reverted back into the general fund.
Okay.
Same thing we're just giving money back to make sure that the county has the resources it needs in order to fund all of government. And, you're the fiscal, you guys decide what you want to do in the end. I'm just offering suggestions.
Got it. Mr. Keel.
Well, never mind.
Never mind. All right. Anybody have any suggestions with 4D?
Oh, and I would like to say, I know I brought this up, at least to some of you. We're on track after years of decline. Through June, we are up 2% in terms of overall collections. For various reasons, they've been going down. But through June, we're seeing an increase. So, all these different projects like, advertising and such that we're doing with incentive funds, we're actually turning the tide, at least through June, with, 4 or 5 months to go in the federal fiscal year, to overall collections being up for the first time in a long time. So, we're 4D, I'm kind of proud of, since we're actually doing great work there and it helps kids. That's one of the 2 statutorily mandated things that I do: crime, child support. So.
All right. So again to the council. Any recommendations, motions for 2s and 3s for 4D?
Motion to approve the 2s and 300s for 40 as presented.
Motion approved by Mr. Keel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right, back to 2501. Mr. Otter, were you?
Just give me a
Nope.
second, please.
No problem.
Trying to get caught up with the vote. Unfortunately, this was not coming up on. Unfortunately, it wasn't coming up on screen. There were transfers of over $300,000 coming out of the 2500 going into this 2501 to pay for things as well as whatever might have been budgeted right from the start. So then when we go to it, there's a ton of spending. When I get to it, hold on one second.
So I'm going to look for a motion to table just for the fact of the essence of time, because I don't want to give you the
Motion to
appropriate
table.
time. Motion, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just that line, just that line.
Just that, the 2501.
Just 2501.
All right.
And that line item.
Who was the second?
Mark was second.
Mark was the second.
Thank you.
Jenny was
Got the rest.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Prosecutor.
Thank you.
Mr. Prosecutor, can you give us whatever information you have on that account? Just that one line in 2501?
Anything in specific or?
What it's been spent on?
All of the information you have as far as what's
For
been
tomorrow.
spent, yes.
Sometimes their letters don't match up yours. I'm not saying that.
No, we're fine.
I just appreciate
I'll have
it.
better
If
detail.
that line item, if you could get your ledger and we'll compare the numbers if you can. Thank you. Yep.
All right. So now that brings us to human resources. Yep. Oh, there we go.
Anybody need to move their card before Dermody taps it? Do you really?
Not going to, but
Do you know somebody?
I was going to tell Mark Jagelski told me I could leave it there.
No, you don't do that. Mayor does not like me. I voted against his.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. All right. So first question I had was on professional services. It looks like we're at 4,064 expended to a 3,000 adopted. I'm assuming you made a transfer from somewhere?
Yes,
Okay. You know where that was from?
it came out of the advertising budget.
Came out of advertising. Okay. That still doesn't make you whole. Based on the number I see here, do you know where else it came from? Because according to this, you're 1,064 over and 584 came out of advertising.
No, 584 was spent in advertising.
Oh, I see. As advertising. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
And even though we're talking twos and threes for the most part, I see an increase to the extra hire part-time seasonal. Now, at our current part-time rates, that would bring you to 29 hours a week, roughly. That sound right? Mm-hmm. What you're planning on there. And Mr. Otter, remind me, what's our limit to where for part-time versus full?
Approximately 27 and a half hours.
27 and a half is where so we got to be cautious with that number. Okay. Anybody else see anything of cause for concern, question, suggested changes?
Motion to approve the 200 and 300 account.
Motion approved 200 and 300 as presented?
Yes.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second?
So, motion to approve twos and threes as presented by Mr. Mullenhour, second by Mrs. Heath. Any further discussion?
Really quick, are we going to see the reflection of the EMS because the testing is being done here through the HR now instead of? So you won't know this question. I'm asking so EMS did have a line item for this, and so I just want to make a note for you that should be reduced.
Okay. All right.
Question on the employee education and training. How come it's at zero? Do we have any training to be doing?
No, it's at 3,000.
I mean, it's year-to-date expenditure, I mean, sorry.
Well, because the HR training is late in the year, so that's usually what we usually have that spending for our HR conference in August, so
Okay,
that usually doesn't get spent till then.
gotcha. All right, thank you.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving twos and threes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Great.
Thank you.
So we have county assessor along with Michigan Township. What are they, 130?
109's county.
Yep, there it is. I like the cup.
Thank you.
All right, we'll briefly look at 109, even though it's all 100s. Any questions from the council here?
Thanks. No step increases for your clerks? Looks identical.
No.
There should have been step increases.
Okay. Yeah, it's flat from 25 according to what we see here.
Which clerks are you looking at?
We're looking at the 109 at the 10119, 2,000 or 244,249.
In the 2015 assessment, that's where I have some increases, what looks like increases.
My 144s?
Yeah, in the, for your clerks.
Oh,
So-
so they're on a different page, is what he's saying.
Why don't they have those?
Paid on at two different locations.
No, we haven't really gone over the 144s yet because we didn't think you were going to talk about 100s today.
And they also came in very late.
Right.
I've seen some that had them in and some that didn't, so that's why I
Well,
was
it
asking.
shows when they got them in.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
So we were on time then.
You were
on
we
time.
just didn't get to it in some.
All right, fair enough. So
Yes, I do have some increases.
okay.
They're just not noted, we didn't.
All right, if nobody has anything for the 109, we're going to move to sales disclosure 1131. I see nothing of concern or question here.
The only question would be is Michigan Township Assessor training's at 0 for 26 so far, and 25 didn't have an expend out of it either.
The issue there is, for some reason, the auditor's office never got that corrected. I think they never created a line item or something in there, and so that was being paid out of, where'd you pay it, Brett, out of reassessment? Because they would have had a January conference that would have come out of that. But he told me there was an issue of budgeting.
Because we switched it around last
They,
year.
they switched it around last year, but
Oh.
I don't think they got it correct.
There's a line in each of these. Yeah.
It didn't come out of why you're,
There's 815.
it didn't
So-
come out of the sales
So,
disclosure.
Mr. Auditor, is it appropriate that we strike the 5,000 for 30170 out of
If they
1131?
want to keep it there, then we'll move it there. That's fine, as long as it's not else.
Well, right now we have it in both.
We have it in 2015 under 3170 as well.
Right, that was
I
supposed to
yield
be
to that.
switched to the sales disclosure fund only
Then we'll
last
bring
year.
that to 0.
All right, so we'll
Under
bring
reassessment when we
815.
get there.
Okay, when we get to the reassessment one.
Yep,
Okay.
we'll strike that one.
All right.
Okay, any other questions regarding 1131?
Approve 2s and 3s on 1131.
Approval for twos and
3s.
Yeah, there you go. For 300 accounts out of 1131. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mrs. Heath. So, approval of all the three, basically approval of the sales disclosure requested budget as presented. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Now we'll go to 2015 reassessment. So, jumping down to page 2, second line from the bottom,
Strike
that to 0. In addition to that, in my review, I saw, and starting with the top, at Michigan Township Assessor, extra hire part-time, expended 4,118 in 2025, 0 so far this year. I'm suggesting we look at something on the order of 5,000 for 2027. Then we go down 2 lines to the 101 or 10130 for extra part-time hire. It's currently at 78,000. Previous, in 2025, it was 43,000. Right now, you're on track to 58,000. I'm suggesting 60,000 for 2027.
The question on your both is, this is a reassessment fund, so there's really nothing, if we take it out,
Well, it doesn't do us anywhere in general, but where I'm looking at it is in terms of anything that's grant money or any other, their money type of accounts, it's, if we put it in the budget, it's free to be transferred within means.
Is it?
You answered my question, thank you.
2015 reassessment is a property tax-based fund.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But all in all, any of these that are dedicated to a particular department or channel of government, still looking to reduce this in order to assure that we've got money in other locations for the additional appropriations for the unplanned issues, right? Not trying to bring them forward to us, but making sure that they can work to it.
Thank you.
No, no problem. Board members, 2025 was 7,800. Right now you're on track to spend about 4,300. So I'm thinking $8,000 there.
I do kind of have some questions. So you would rather have me come back, because I never come and ask for any additional, so you would rather have me come back if we go short?
What I'm suggesting is
because
budgeting.
I just think we're picking up numbers because they sound good, but for an office that never comes back and asks for additional, I don't know what the game plan is here.
You're right. You never come back to see us. I totally agree. I also see where leaving the potential to where if the money is not needed for that assessment, for that particular line item or account, to be transferred somewhere else in order to be used. And I'm looking at every department across the county as give them the funds of what they've demonstrated is necessary from previous years, and that's why we have 25 and 26 on here. And then I know Mr. Keel has his binders, he has them in his car right now, I think, for some of the other ones, is we're using the previous information in order to do this. Not to cut you short, not to make you come in front of us for the planned events, but to give you a budget that makes sense for the planned events. And these are my suggestions. The other 6 peers up here could tell me, no, we want to provide a budget that is as you requested.
We want to shower Mr. Schultz in cash. No, not really. Some of the issues in the past is where departments have a lot of extra money in certain line items, then they transfer it at the end of the year. And we don't have a lot of transparency into the transfers unless we ask for a transfer report or they're moving it between major accounts, like 100s to 200s. So, but if a department is moving at 100s to 100s, we typically never know about it. So by trying to get everything right size, then that doesn't happen as much.
But you'll see.
So I guess historically, what do you see in my almost 20 years? Have you seen that in my reassessment budget?
You're not being singled out here, sir. Your department is not being singled out here.
I'm just saying I don't want to be dragged into the others to where I have to come back and ask if there's an issue.
No. And I'm trying not to get you to where you have to. These suggestions are above what you're projected to spend this year, and they're above what you've spent in 25, just not the amount that you're requesting. And again, I've got 6 others that have to make the motion. I'm in the seat that I'm in. I'm not traditionally the one to make the motion. These are just my observations, my comments.
We have plenty of budget hearings ahead of us, so if you want to make the case further, I know you're getting hit with this on the fly, so if you feel like you want to explain further in emails or in a future meeting, I mean, by all means, we definitely make edits to this as we go through it.
Well, I think it's just interesting because it's a non-reverting fund. It just goes back and just goes back to try to short me when I never go to the max. And if, because on like reassess or on the part-time, I help other offices fund some of their part-time. I don't know what their need is until it arises, but I sure hate to come before you and say, okay, the auditor needed help now, and so now I'm shorted, $2,000, so now I need another $2,000 to continue in a non-reverting fund. I could understand if it was the 109 in the general fund, because that's everybody's. But I guess you can see that I've never asked, and it just continues to revert back. And we have made some cuts in the previous just to bring it down, but I don't know why we would use the number 60,000 versus this 74 or whatever it was.
78, well, because in 2025 you spent 43,000, and you're on track for about 59,000 for this year.
So that's pretty close, 59 to 60.
Well, you were asking for 78.
Exactly, but I've not had to fund some of the other offs that I funded in previous years. So if the auditor or the treasurer would have needed some help, I would have to come back under your scenario at the 60,000.
I guess I'm also wondering, is funding other departments a permissible use of 2015 reassessment
It's permissible
funds, or?
because reassessment is such a broad, because it doesn't necessarily have to be to measure something. Anything that helps with reassessment, and tax collections help with reassessment.
Mr. Schultz, I'll give you another example, like you help with the GIS because we can reflect that, you put that employee in, so that those are all acceptable means, as long as you can find good cause, which he always has. I mean, I've never seen you go off the limb on anything.
No, speaking with the Board of Accounts, it's just such a broad thing, because if it basically just touches reassessment, it's permissible. And like I said, collecting taxes is part of reassessment to the extent that, you have to have that to collect the reassessment fund. Set rates or whatever, if we're doing 134s because of reassessment.
So
it's a broad.
For the essence of time, I think any of the suggestions I've made regarding the 100 accounts, we're just going to strike the comments right now, right? Because we're not approving 100s right now. We can move down to 2s and 3s.
Motion to approve the 2s and 3s as read.
You still want to go as presented?
As presented.
All right. So motion 2s and 3s as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
We're gonna strike that?
It's up to you, I don't care.
Well, it's already in the other.
That is my motion.
So
It's okay. Go ahead.
open to discussion.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to strike 3170 out of that reassessment fund, since we've already got it in the other.
Yeah.
That's fine with me, sir.
You're not to zero.
Thank you.
All right.
Quick question on postage. I see $5,600 in postage for Michigan Township assessor, but then $25,000 for the rest of the county. Does that seem like the right amount? Just, Michigan Township's not 1/6 of the total population, is it?
That pays the
That's for the
Form
Form
11s.
Form 11s.
So they have 19,000 parcels. So basically, we have 49,000 on our side.
Well, and the difference is, so when you suggest that we go to the bulk rate, right, so we did that.
Yeah.
And I do believe at the end of the day, it does save money, but the previous way we did it, we would be able to put in multiple Form 11s into one envelope, right? The way that it's done now, that's not the case, because it has to be done based on zip code. So, yes, I'm getting a lower postage rate, but yes, we have more actual physical documents going out the door.
Actually.
Give me a call later. I
they
have
didn't
some
all
ideas
blend
for how you
together,
might be
so-
able to do it not by zip code to make it easier.
Well, the post office requires that we separate out by zip code. So you can,
Depends on the permit you use, possibly. We can talk about it some
Yeah,
more if we
let's-
want to look and see if we can
some
find something. Yeah.
President, question.
Yes, Mr. Yagowski.
Are you done? Are you done?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's always a favorite when you have to answer your own question, like, here's my job, but what have you heard as far as what we have heard that the state legislators have talked about, eliminating all of it so that you would now be under Mr. Schultz? Or Mr. Schultz, what have you heard, both of you guys? Is there any truth to it, or is it just talk and legislation wise, or that you would encumber all of the county?
It's been talked for a number of years.
yeah.
The thing is, when it gets downstate, there's pressure put on both sides. And the Assessors Association has won out. They've maybe made concessions on something to keep it. I don't know. Again, it's up there, but of course, there's the thing to eliminate property taxes altogether. Which
So, for example, like the first year that they got rid of the other departments, not Michigan Town, yours was on a referendum. So that superseded your group that goes down there in Indianapolis. So
What it comes down to, and questions that I've asked, it comes down to is it anytime the Assessors Association or those that are looking to consolidate everything, it gets to committee, the committee chair is very strong willed loves every level of township government, and it never makes it to a bill. So
that's my question. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So we've got a motion and a second and amendment to approve the 2s and 3s out of 2015 reassessment. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So now to Michigan Township Assessor 130.
I guess. Mark. Did Mr. Yagowski vote for that?
Yes. Yep.
He made the motion.
Because I can't spend the money.
That's true, but that's because it changed. I know we're not approving 100s accounts, but I see a $5,000 drop in clerks. So I'm assuming that has to do with steps, with a retirement and a. Okay. Judging by the nod, I'm for the record, let's say yes.
Can we move the mic over to you, Mr. Bannock?
So sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Otherwise, there's nothing here to really. He's not asking for anything in 2s and 3s.
So we moved the accounts. I don't know if you see that. But I've been working with the auditor's office. It was approved last year.
Right.
But it wasn't completely reflected when I went to go put in my budget. So I worked with the auditor's office. We got those created. So those were in the general fund, the 100 accounts. They're now moved to reassessment and sales disclosure. So there's nothing else there.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve 2s and 3s?
Yes.
Second. Motion approved by 2s and 3s by Mrs. Seeds, second by Mr. Keel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. All right.
Justin, you had called my leak.
Yeah, here now.
I probably could get some reassessment funds so we have more mics for everybody so we don't have to share too. But
Mike, you also said you never come back. I see you at a lot more meetings than you don't.
Well, I don't come and ask. I'm here. But the mileage, we really don't start picking up until midsummer to the end of the year because it's the building permits. We're looking for what's there January 1st, or since appeals are over, now it's the time we go out and start looking at stuff. But we can also, maybe the mileage doesn't look is used so greatly because a lot of that, if it's a garage, we can pretty much, because we did a new flyover this year, so we've got brand new, we can measure that from the office if it's a square or something, so we don't always have to go to South County or something to pick up something, so that's why. But mileage doesn't start really accumulating until midsummer through the end of the year.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we're set.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, since we are a few minutes ahead, and Mr. Yagowski asked, we're going to recess for a few minutes, so we'll start up again at, is 10 minutes good for you? Sure. All right, so at 10:40.
So go move Mike.
All right, let's resume where we left off, kind of. We're going to jump back to the commissioners for a moment because it's been brought to my attention that we forgot one particular department as related to printing. There it is. Commissioners. Printing 181. So we've got printing supplies, $35,000, and we expended all of that in 2025, and we're at just under 12 now. And maintenance contracts, which is 14,000, but we've expended nearly all of it. Schroeder, can you elaborate on where some of these are?
I can.
Your deputy.
I don't have it up.
The printing supplies, that's the paper for the entire county.
Okay.
And the maintenance is the cost of Pitney Bowes, the Pitney Bowes machines. So they're both, there's really no room for anything there.
So is that a contract that we pay up front? So we're not at
Bowes.
risk at needing an additional appropriation?
Yeah, and we order the paper at the beginning of the year.
If we're out of paper, of course, then we have to, but otherwise, no.
I'm talking more on the maintenance contracts one.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Ms. Seith, second by Mr. Keel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now back to our regularly scheduled program at EMS 140. Okay. So let's talk 2s and 3s, but then we're going to jump up to 100s because I'm confused. So, maintenance contracts, $100,000 jump.
Only because the 100 wasn't originally in the swap. That's what we had to come back for a few months into the year to take care of. It should have been 120 to start the year. So it is a $20,000 increase. It actually was going to be about 150, which would have been obviously a $30,000 increase, but we were able to combine some services and eliminate a couple of the maintenance contracts we had this year.
Okay.
To try to trim some fat there. So yes, it's an increase, but we eliminated 3 other ones. A couple of our vendors ended up offering same or similar service, so we were able to get a better price by combining it with that and then eliminating the other.
Okay.
So the correct number should be 120?
It should be 140.
140.
120 was last year.
Okay.
All right. Then I get down to 30057 credit bureau fees. In 2025 we spent 2340 of the $5,000 appropriated. So far this year it's 985. My only comment here is fully utilize them.
Yeah.
Right?
So we had a comment or I had a conversation with the county attorney at the first of the year, like, hey, what can we do to recoup some of these? So we shopped. He gave me some names of some other vendors he was aware of. And so I told our current vendor, like, hey, we're shopping this. And they've been much more active since that conversation. So we should see a pretty good return on the collection rate, which in turn, when they collect, that's where their fee comes out of. Yep. So that's why it's a little lower right now, because they're actually doing their job.
And that's exactly my comment, right? I'm not looking to reduce this. What I'm looking to do is increase the revenue. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Just a general question. So is that pretty common? Because I've talked to some of my cohorts in Porter and Lake County. They take a somewhat more aggressive approach to some of this stuff.
The collection company, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, use this lightly that I say they weren't doing anything. They weren't doing what we thought they should be doing, and just, oh, well, it's fine. And we said, listen, we need you to get us a return on this, right? And they got more aggressive. So by them, however they do it on their back end, via phone call, letter, whatever, has yielded some results for us to recoup some more money. Our collection rate, just in that time frame, has gone up by almost 10%. So when you're billing out $10 million a year, that's quite a large return.
I guess that's all sounds good because we did it, but it's more like, well, then maybe we got to consider at least bidding out and see what you can come up with, because that one little scare got you 10%.
Right.
I know that, again, I said that there seems to be more aggressive approaches towards Porter and Lake County.
If you could get me some departments to speak with, that'd be great. I'll reach out to them.
Okay.
When does it come up for contract? Just curious.
It isn't under contract. We can cancel anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
In that vein, could you share with us the reports that you have later the ones that show like your revenue collections and like what's not being collected from your billings?
Yeah, I sent it out 2 months ago, but I'll resend it as soon as I get back up to the office.
Yeah, especially if it's updated too, since you've been pushing the collection.
It's just a yearly, so, but I can dig in and see what numbers I can find year to date also.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions on 2s and 3s? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Mullenhour,
Second?
second by Mrs. Heath. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so back to 100s.
I have a question
Sure.
about, I mean, I guess technically this would have been the old 400 account. When we were doing stuff out of lit, I was able to put in for vehicles, but since none of our budget was out of lit this year, I couldn't do that. It's extremely beneficial for us to have that budgeted, much as it is with the sheriff's office, so that we can get the ball rolling now for next year. Case in point, we're looking to start the remount cycle. I know I've spoken about this over the last couple of years. It's almost a 50% cost savings for us versus new. So our second of our, unfortunately, wrecked ambulances will be done in Missouri within the next 2 months. So if this was budgeted for next year, I'd be able to save us a trip and take that truck down with us, leave it there, and then they get started on it to be done probably February-ish, February, March. Same deal then, so we have slated to do 2 next year. When we went to pick up that truck, we would drop off the second. It just saves us from having to pay to ship it down or another fuel trip to get it down there.
Okay.
Much as with the truck that we did, which again, thank you to all of you for pushing away from the Tahoes, because I probably wouldn't have otherwise. And it's been amazing. Big difference pulling the trailers and whatnot. So I think that's the direction we will continue to go. A lot better option than the Tahoes.
So in this case, it'd be that would, the ambulance remounts and even the vehicles, right? That would be something that would be on a capital asset plan. Is that something that?
Yes, and it is.
Okay, because we don't have that here, so.
Okay.
But no problem. If you can forward that to us, we'll discuss that for a possible 4,000 account, right?
Okay.
So you're talking about 2 remounts. What's that approximate cost? Budget
with
for that.
equipment, 460,000 versus 800,000 to do 2 new.
Okay. And then are there any other vehicles that you're suggesting?
Yeah, replacing a 9-year-old Tahoe with, just call it the typical Tahoe issues, transmission and whatnot. That vehicle is 9 years old.
Did you submit a capital assets plan?
I did.
Could you forward that to us? Because I didn't get a copy of it yet.
Yeah, I just asked for it. If you repeat.
Sorry, I was.
I'll check too, but I don't.
Okay, and that's a
printed out
Tahoe to a
everything
truck, is what you were assuming?
Yes.
And that's rough. What did you spend last time?
75, so I put it in the plan as 80 just to account for increase, just like everything else.
We talked about.
Okay.
You know, and that's where just a general comment, so you guys are all aware, I did not increase our corporate compliance. It's still 105,600. That's 3161. But under new federal guidelines, we had to obtain our own DEA licensure for our narcotics. We are no longer able to order those through LaPorte Hospital, which we have done as long as I've been around, so 23 years. So we don't get that discount. So we're paying almost double what we used to for medications, and that's what it comes out of. But trying to be a little more frugal, we're going to pinch where we can to not increase any of that. But just so you guys know, that cost increased because now we have to incur more. And that was a Indiana State Board of Pharmacy change, that we can no longer work under our medical direction.
Okay, because I know when we talked about it earlier, you were kind of surprised as to why the hospital wouldn't, but now it adds more to that mystery. Very good.
Beyond just vehicles, building repairs, replacements, work to that extent, what's in the future for that, and is there anything in the 2027 budget?
There's not currently. But, I mean, we all know the condition in Michigan City. I know we've had some discussion about the possible grant avenue, so obviously that would be our first choice, is to get it paid via grant, so we'll work on that, but, I mean, every month that goes by, we're...
Before I'm out of here today, I'll make sure that you have
Say that again, please.
before I'm out of here today, out of the building today, I'll make sure that you have the contact information for that office so that we can get that rolling.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Any other things you want to highlight?
No.
Any other capital or twos and threes questions for the council? Okay, so we'll talk 100s for a second, because I'm a little lost as to what we've got here. So we talked about during previous regular meeting about the rank separation, and I see you've got that built in here.
Correct.
But so my first question falls, obviously, chief deputy went from 91,000 to nothing.
So that was a clerical side that it.
So that's where, judging by the gesture I just got over here, that answers my next question, where it has to do with secretary, admin, office manager.
Yeah, it was moved from the 112 to the 117. It was combined in with 117.
All right, perfect. And then down to 10145, shift supervisors. How many positions is that?
That is 4.
And it jumped $100,000.
Previously 3. So
it's the rank separation plus the 4th.
Right. So that moved because we went from lieutenant to captain on the training. That moved it from, there used to be, it's old terminology. Now, just so you guys understand it better, supervisor is captain, captain is lieutenant.
Yep.
Just so you guys understand the terminology. And so it moved the lieutenant spot up to the captain. So it just went, instead of 3 and 4, it went to 4 and 3.
That's, okay. That move makes sense then. All right. That's all I had. Any other questions from the council?
Really quick, on this medicine you're talking about, how much money you're talking about that's going to cost us because we couldn't go to the hospital?
We're spending roughly in narcotics a year. I'm just going to throw a number at around 23,000. Between 23 and 25, just on narcotics. That's none of our other medications that we have to get as well. And all of our other medical supplies that we have to purchase, it all comes from that one account. And then also with our blood product, it comes from that account as well.
Okay.
So what was the increase then from going from hospital to private?
About double. I mean, we were probably around 10 to 12 before. And with us having to do it on our own, we're not getting a bulk discount because we're ordering. And we've looked at trying to order more to try to save more. But with us not doing that big, large bulk, we were also worried about expiration dates, and then we just waste it anyway, so it's not worth it.
We've adjusted par levels, inventory levels, to try to manage what we're wasting out expiration wise, just as a way to try to save. It does make us order more, but we're not wasting stuff that's not used at the same time. So,
and it's a balancing game because when we order less and we start using more, when we go to order more, a lot of times it's on back order. So now we're like, oh crap, we're pushing to the end of the line and we're just waiting for it to come in. So we push the limits a little bit, but it's more just to try to save the penny at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
I made the comment, just so you guys are all aware, we started the blood product June 1st. We've given twice so far. We are in agreement with LaPorte on that. And instead of just, I'm going to say dump it down the drain, it's not as brutal as that when it expires. But we're able at 2 weeks to expiration, give it to LaPorte Hospital, and if they use it, we get a credit for it. So that's been a great partnership. So we're not just bleeding money on that. So
okay. Just since they're a separate entity, not with local government of any kind, you have some level of contract or okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So something where you have air cover.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Very good.
All right. Thank you. I will forward you guys all that information here in just a minute.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. Did you get a response?
The coroner is on her way.
Okay.
She's coming down now.
Trash can.
Does she want to do parks or something?
You know what? Let's take a look at. We'll wait on Mark.
Are you taking a break?
Not officially.
Just kind of happened that way.
You taking a break? Yeah. You know what? Let's go with parks. Let's go ahead and jump up and get this done.
What's his number?
155.
155, okay.
You.
Morning, Jeremy.
Morning.
Sticking with the trends of 2s and 3s for a minute. So I did a little homework related to gas, fuel, and oil, looking at your increases there. Now, taking into account, you know, I'm assuming you're not paying tax on any of that, right? You're getting tax exempt sticker.
On what now?
On gas, fuel, and oil.
Right, we get it at the highway, yeah.
Yeah, but looking at it, it's, the 12,000 is in line with the way that the rates have been through the year, so I 100% agree with that one.
I will say the last one, consultant fees, we did not get the grant I was hoping to get, so that 20,000 could be, wiped off of there, and if we do get a grant or something, I can come back. But as far as the 3200 or 044, the consultant fees, I don't have an immediate need for that because the grant we tried to get is not, it's not gonna happen, so.
Okay, that's definitely up for consideration. Electric makes sense. Yeah, I had nothing else that really stood out to me. Did anybody have any questions regarding 2s and 3s for parks?
So are we removing the 20,000 in consultants fees?
I'm open to it.
Okay,
Do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion to approve 2s and 3s without the $20,000 for consultant. Move that to 0. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Keel and Mr. Kessler. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving 2s and 3s out of Parks 155 while reducing consultant from $20,000 to 0, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, now we'll go to their non-reverting 1179-259.
Yeah, so these are funds that, it's basically like rolling over from one year to the next. It's not, I'm not asking for that money. That's money we would have to start the year out, just to pay refunds and start out those accounts with something so that if we have a need right away, we would be able to pay that.
Okay. Now, looking at 2026, you're overexpended in other supplies, other services and charges, and deposit refunds.
Say that again?
If you go to the book, or do you have so look at 20021.
That's in here.
30120 and 5004.
Yeah, so that doesn't show our revenue as it comes in, because as that comes in, it looks like we're overexpended, but our revenue comes in and we use that right out of there at this,
Look over here, you got 191,000.
Yeah.
And expend.
That makes sense. It's just missing a
Because
column.
it's generating revenue, so it's canceling, so.
That's where the revenue's going, is in it's non-reverting.
Yeah, it's non-reverting, yeah.
Got it. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Mr. Yagowski.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. All in favor of approving the park non-reverting 1179, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now, moving to Mr. Keel's favorite subject.
Asset plans.
The asset plans.
Thank you for the very detailed plan, by the way.
Thank you.
Anything you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things in there that obviously are big items, like, Hunt Lake development's going to be huge if we can, but that I think is going to be a lot of community support and grants and things like that. Trucks, that we have a truck on there for next year. That truck is, 115,000 miles. It'll be 10, almost 10 years old next year. It's a 2018. That's our maintenance foreman's truck. We only have, 6 trucks for the department, so it's hard to be down one, but I do know that the commissioners are keeping a couple vehicles now, or hopefully, I guess, I think I heard that. The roof, the one, the metal roof on the Red Mill maintenance building, I know on my plan there, it said, it's currently leaking. It is, it's a pole barn, but, it needs replaced, but it's not like a building like this where we're going to have a lot of stuff get damaged from it. But yes, we definitely need to replace that. Crack sealing, we've got that in there. I've been working with Highway. We're going to try to get that on their bid for the year, I think, so that probably get a lot better price than when we try to bid that out individually. So that, the parking lots, we've got a lot of new pavement, and we want to try to keep that from busting out with the cracks and things.
All right, I like the fact that you not only are you talking about fund name, but you're also talking about Park Foundation, HFL, community involvement.
Yeah, I mean, those are
considering it all.
Obviously ideas. I mean, I don't have approval from any of them, but those are just, when I do that, I think ideas, of how we can get things funded. Our non-reverting pays for a lot of things, or helps pay for a lot of things. When we come to you guys, we usually try to use our non-reverting as well for some of those things, but those bigger ticket items are hard to come up with the funds for all of that, just out of non-reverting or straight from the county.
All right.
Would you be interested in us appropriating some of the high, priority items off of this that you're absolutely going to do next year and that are, a necessity?
You want me to say that right now, or you?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that roof on the pole building at the Red Mill maintenance building, I think that would be a priority. The lure maintenance building, it's definitely showing its age. It's a 26-year-old roof, or actually 30. It was built in 1990, so that'd be over 30 years. That's something we definitely need to probably do. I think I could probably get some money from my foundation for that, but I can't. That's not my decision, but I think that's definitely a priority. I want to keep our roofs, obviously, before they give us problems or cause more damage in the decking and stuff. The crack sealing, look, that's, if we let that go and we get the freeze thaw on those cracks, that's going to be a problem. You're going to have problems in your parking lots and the roads going in and that kind of thing. So I would say those are probably the top 3 or 4. I don't know how many I said there, but I'm a preventative maintenance kind of guy, try to do it before it becomes an issue for us. But, if we can find the money, and I'll work to find as much as I can outside of, coming straight to you for all of it. But those are probably my top ones for next year.
Is there interest in partially appropriating or budgeting the amount for the roof replacement for those 2 buildings? Saves Mr. Sebecki the hassle of coming back before us to ask for money for a 40-year-old roof.
What I would recommend is that we put this up into one of our workshops when we're closing this up, and I would ask you to approach your foundation to see what they're willing to pony up, and that way we've got it set.
Yeah.
I think we should combine that with all our needs of roofs. So I think it's, again, we've asked from commissioners before, what's your top 10? Because I at least know 10 roofs right now that need to be worked or replaced on.
Yeah.
So I meant it's more than unfortunately, we're back into the wish list thing. We need to have some numbers and what.
This is nice having this.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying though that we can't just vote for this when we have 10 more at least 10 more that I know.
Right, but at least this one, he's got support from other than our funds.
Parks is kind of unique in that they're semi-autonomous in their operations where they're not going through building maintenance necessarily for everything.
Yeah, not for those type of things. We usually try to handle that and get it taken care of, either by funds from outside or from the council. But yeah, we don't call them, a lot of times we don't call them for anything except like HVAC stuff. And you know, they, or something that they might have a little more knowledge that my staff cannot fix in-house, you know, so we don't go through them for that. That's just the way we've always done it. I'm not saying that's, you know, never really got direction that you don't go through them for anything, but we have our budgets and we try to maintain our buildings and everything, really, our equipment, all that stuff, ourselves.
I'll save my motion for today, but, you know, if you bring us some more info.
Yeah, I've got a foundation meeting at the end of this month, and I can talk to them about it. I'll bring those items up. Yeah, and one thing, you know, that I'd like to say is that, you know, my foundation has more money for certain parks because of donations over time, right? Lure and Bloom have a little more money than Red Mill, Creek Ridge, Siebert Woods, that kind of thing. So over time, there's been a couple of donations for those parks that we have a little more money than the others. So it's like this, if it's a lure project, I might be able to find more money than, say, Red Mill.
Got it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep, thank you.
All right, moving on to the corner.
107.
So that, there it is. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't, there's a question, I don't, we didn't vote for that. There's questions.
We know, there was nothing just to discuss.
We didn't vote on the.
On 107, we didn't?
I thought we did.
Thought we did too, because then I thought we went to, we voted on it, didn't we?
We voted on everything.
Which one?
On 107?
The 107, we're just getting to now.
Or not 107, on
Parks.
And 5?
on the parks.
We voted on the original parks.
Yeah.
I've just got to get to it, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
this one.
did we do this?
I already moved over, so give me a minute.
All right. So looking at your requested budget, looking at autopsy at being 150,000 appropriated last year, it looks like we're off, this year we're looking to expend that plus. If it's a linear rate.
Okay, yes, we have a contract with the pathologist that the commissioners have signed. Each year when I come, it's been the same amount, the 192 for the last, I think, 3 years. But each year when I come to budget hearings, they say, we'll give you 150 and then come back and ask for the other 42.
Got it. So this is a contract rate per month. It's a
Yes.
subscription.
Yes.
Got it. X-ray lab and morgue. Right now, we're on track for about a little less than 8,500. Last year, we spent 8,500. This year, you're asking for 23,000.
It's been 23,000. I also pay, when we get billed from other counties for autopsies that are performed, basically, and mostly St. Joe County, because they have the trauma center. Anybody that's flown out there and passes away, then we get charged for that autopsy. So,
Wouldn't that be just under autopsies then, in your budget?
No.
No.
The autopsies are
The autopsies are separate.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying your autopsies are also coming out of the X-ray lab and morgue fees?
Right, because that's the only account. I mean, this just started, I believe, 2 years ago, and there was no place to take it from. So we put it under X-ray lab and morgue. I mean, that's where we were drawing it from.
In order to separate out
In
the
order to
fact that
separate,
what the
yes.
billings are versus the contracted
Yes.
subscription is. So, Mr. Auditor, as I'm looking at it, so for this year, we've spent 4142 out of X-ray lab and morgue with an appropriation or adopted budget of 23,000. They're having, and then with this, in 2025, it was 8541, his total expense for 2025 with a budget of 23,000. Have we made additional appropriations that we're not seeing here to cover some of these contract rates? To where it would justify the 20?
We've had to do for the 196,000 in order, 192,000 in order to cover that 16,000, because that contract was just finally put in place and signed this year after the start of the year. So that's why, but as far as you're just talking about the 30032 account?
Yeah.
There's just been one, I believe, from St. Joe County, if I'm correct. It's all I remember seeing.
For this year?
So far this year. But again,
I know I have another
Hit or
one.
miss.
I have another one
yeah.
coming, I know that.
If it can be done under the contracted services, it almost doesn't matter how many there are. There are other additional autopsies, but we can get reimbursed from the state.
Right, but that's a totally separate.
So there's a lot of different categories.
I'm looking at it as a potential reduction, but I don't want to end up having to make unnecessary movements, kind of like the discussion we had with the assessor.
Okay, well, something else I've been able to do with that amount staying where it's at is, like if our toxicology is getting really low towards the end of the year, and I get that final bill, I can transfer from the 30032 into the toxicology account.
Okay. All right, fair.
Because again, that's another number that, I can't predict what it's going to be.
Okay. What if I were to suggest equipment radio, reducing that by half? Last year, we spent 886 out of it. This year, so far, is zero.
Well, that might have to change because we're having problems with the radios. Batteries alone are like almost $200.
Okay.
We're having problems with the batteries lasting 2 hours once you take it off the base. And that's also what our pagers are doing. And we're not getting reception on pagers. So we're trying to work with 911 to find out a different option maybe other than using the pagers. I don't know if it's because they're bouncing off towers that just aren't, transmitting. This morning was a perfect example. A page went out at 8 o'clock. At 8:17, they were paging for the third time for the coroner that was on call, and she said she was sitting right there next to her radio.
Okay.
Question on the,
Yes.
thank you. Then, so you supply a phone for every one of your?
No.
They have to pay for their own phone?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just was wondering, they have a phone / radio.
Okay.
Do both functions. So we could look into it, but, all right, thank you.
All right.
I hate to say this, but here I am volunteering, but we should be supplying their phones. They don't get paid that much money.
Well, the problem is we get into a definition between 1099 and employee.
I know.
And that's where
That's going to be a tough one.
got to
how
be
you look at
cautious
it.
of. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns with the 2s and 3s for the coroner's office?
I just got a question on emergency equipment.
How do they work?
It's always been, looks like traditionally 5,000.
How do they work?
You spent,
We try to get it for,
last year, 2239. This year, you spent $1,328. What is that?
That's our body bags, PPE, gloves, hazmat suits. This number does not include a bill that I just paid for $1,300 for body bags.
Okay.
So that'd be up around, where are you, 1,300, so about 2,600 now.
Right.
And still 5 months to go.
And we've still got 5 months to go. That was only 15 body bags for that $1,300.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have anything? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the 200s and 300s as presented.
Motion to approve 2s and 3s by Mr. Keels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
me.
All right.
Thank you.
So it is a radio slash, so it's a radio slash phone, and you can just. With it. We have a. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll leave it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to lads. Good morning.
Sherry Schuster, office manager, and I'll introduce Kelly Johnson. She came on board in May.
All right,
as
well,
the
welcome.
director.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just as a footnote, usually Superior 3 comes with lads, but he didn't schedule it that way this time.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah,
was
we
kind of surprised by it,
asked,
too.
we asked him to come and he has a hearing, and we asked when they were going to schedule, and they said that they were booked solid these 2 days and to just go ahead and get on the schedule. So
So make sure you report back that I was absolutely terrible to deal with without him being in a room, so that you can feel guilty for next time. Oh yeah, he won't have it next time.
that's true.
So your page is in back of Superior 3 in your books. Oh.
So 151, and then the next page for 277. All right, so looking at office supplies, 2025 you spent just under $2,000. Right now you're on track to spend 800. Is keeping it at 2,000 seem like something reasonable?
We've had an unusual circumstance over the last 8 months. The former director was on FMLA leave and was unable to return to work.
Okay.
So that is why some of these accounts, we were brought to a standstill until we could get a new director in to get rolling again.
Okay.
So, but if you want to direct any of those questions, as, you know, I would want you to direct that to the judge, because that was ultimately his decision on how he handled.
So is it that we have invoices that we just now are getting to the auditor's office to get paid, or is it that things were not ordered, Mr. Auditor?
Due to the timing of the event of this FMLA, which occurred last summer, that person was unable to attend any of these events and do the traveling that normally would happen. Now that you have a new person, you're going to start seeing that pick up again, and she didn't come into play until, I believe you just said,
May
May.
1st.
So therefore, you're going to start seeing the expenses hit towards the end of the year. So this is kind of one of those unique situations where they may not spend it all for the current year, but in a given year, it's more likely that they would incur all of those costs.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be more feasible to ask for this money next month, not this, coming up at next month's meeting? Give them what they need to finish up this year and not budget it that much for next year?
They don't need any more money this year because it was already budgeted. What I'm saying is that they probably won't even spend all of the money that's been budgeted for the current year.
But
next year, though.
But next year, we're going to go from having a half year in 25, an 8-month year in 26, to a full 12-month year in 27. I'm trying to make it a little clearer.
No,
I don't
that
know if
makes
I'm helping.
sense.
Makes sense.
Our clientele was put on hold. We were putting them on wait lists, so we weren't able to see our clientele. And now we're rolling again and seeing clientele again, so that's why
Okay, makes sense.
we weren't able to do the services during that time until Kelly came aboard.
Okay.
I'd move to approve the 200s and 300s as presented.
Motion by Mr. Keel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressley. Any further discussion? All wanting to approve lads 2s and 3s as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are, wow,
Waiting on the treasurer.
we're way ahead.
Texted Dan to let him know we're ready for him.
Okay. So while we're waiting, should we jump to the council real quick?
Let's drill those people.
Yeah, let's grill this one. Because I don't want to do it tomorrow.
Justin Keel. Jimmy Pressel, second.
All right.
Where were we at?
Carry radio then.
Shall we zero it out?
You want to do 144 now? You wanted to move on to 144, Kelsey?
We're going to jump right
We're
into
gonna jump to 144.
Make Brett's day as short as possible for tomorrow since he gets the gavel tomorrow.
Depends on using it too.
I'll bring my own because I know that don't want to hold up.
So, professional services, we're using,
That's what's paid the attorney. He gets paid the same amount as the president on a per diem basis. However, there's a lot of additional fees that come into play.
is any of that coming from folks like Senator Dalton, or who are those professional services coming from, those other
We
fees?
go into,
We've used Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy before, right? Out of the council?
yeah, we do use them, so that's
Sellers.
450 a month
Yeah.
Okay,
in there, sorry.
all right.
I would recommend that you move up dues to 210.
Did they
because that's
change,
what- Because there's been an increase in the dues.
basically it's gone from $20 a council member to $30 a council member to AIC? What is this?
I don't know exactly who it is, but I'm seeing that that's the current cost, and I'm thinking that that's what you should move it to.
All right.
Drop professional services to 30 since that's what we're averaging.
I'm okay with that.
27,390 and 26.
You're looking it up over there?
8
Yeah.
over 2-year average.
Did you guys get the handout we passed down all?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so that's supposed to pass.
Copy me in that handout.
Do you want me to ask the surveyor to head over? He's on standby if you want.
This one.
All right, so I need a form of a motion.
Motion to approve 144 with the changes under 3009 to 210 and 30135 to 30,000.
Just hold up for 1 minute so we can see what those professional services were.
Your mic wasn't on.
So I'll hold it at discussion. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by, okay, motion by Mr. Kessler, second by Mr. Pressel. And we'll hold on the analyses.
The extra professional services.
Turn your mic on.
Your
Your
microphone.
mic on.
Microphone on.
Glad you didn't for that.
Wagner, Irwin, Shealy, and Drayton Beege, Sarugo.
All right.
Does Mr. Beege bill beyond the 21,000
If there's
flat?
extras, yeah,
There's
if there are
extra.
extra things that we ask him or you ask him, yeah, he does.
Okay.
All the attorneys do. It's not just, his per diem is just for coming here. So,
All right. So is that any add to any of the discussion that we're about to have? With that, all in favor of approving, was your motion for 100s as well? Or just twos and
I said
threes?
twos and threes.
Twos and threes. All right, so twos and threes for 144 being the county council, with the changes to dues at being 210, professional services at 30,000 versus 45,147. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
who was the second on that?
It was Jimmy Pressel.
Jimmy.
Thank you.
All right. So you say you've texted
Texted
surveyor.
the surveyor, he's on standby and should be heading over, and I texted Mr. Barony, and he's on his way over too, I believe.
Okay. So we do have a surveyor report.
We're going to surveyor next, is that what you said?
That's what it's thinking like. Because treasurer isn't for another 20 minutes.
Lowell's gonna be post. Isn't it 20?
Just in
Isn't
time.
Lowell 21?
Is
So he actually paid that money if we told him no.
Thanks for coming on short notice.
Let me look it up. Hold on. I see that.
You're up.
What was his number?
Have a seat.
We're making surprisingly good progress.
If you wouldn't mind, jump to your page on the binder, please.
Okay.
You are tab
106.
106.
Okay.
Now, once you're there, I see here you've got a request for a budget for mobile phone of $610. Now, if I understand correctly, I thought that all of the phones are either under IT or the commissioners. Is there any reason why this one is separate?
Recall his situation being unique.
Commissioners pay for them?
I don't find 106 in here.
It's a red tab on the right side. Probably should be like the second red tab.
It was 13.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
I recall there being an issue with the commissioners approving and setting up giving permission to have his phone set up before, and I think we budgeted money around that.
I didn't get the phone till September, and it was, I believe, I pay the monthly fee out of my account.
Okay, I have nothing expended here for this year. Commissioners are paying for the phone.
Okay.
There was an original issue getting the phone,
Yes.
but
There's a whole big issue.
Okay.
Still is.
Still is.
All right. So running that to zero seems like an appropriate move. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
I think so.
All right.
We did not receive a budget, so we took last year's number and moved it over. We've had non-compliance from Mr. Masuchin on 144s until last week after Justin spoke with him about stuff.
Okay.
And the budgets were locked out weeks before, so there was no way for him to enter a budget when you're that late, because we can't have people messing around with our budgets. So
I have many questions about the duties that the office should be doing, because we're not performing the functions that the Indiana Code says we should be doing.
So I'm going to hold you at that one right now, just because we're here for limited time.
Yes.
Related to the budget. I mean, although you did come ahead, because we're 15 minutes ahead or so, I think you were scheduled for a 15-minute slot, and that's what we're trying to work to. I would say if there's something that we've got to schedule a special meeting for, then I would say work through your liaison, let's get something scheduled and as appropriate and go forward. If you feel any differently as
If
things
there's
assigned to you.
related to salaries or something, yeah, I think that would be appropriate. Under his 200s and 300s, currently mileage is set at 0. Mr. Mashwashin, like other county surveyors, is a member of NERPC, and his attendance there is actually important. Like sometimes we do struggle to have quorum at these meetings because it's a 52 or 53 member body. In the past, I believe you've had some issues with getting access to pool cars. I think it would be prudent for us to put $100 in mileage so that when a pool car isn't available,
Can
he can
we ask
still
that question? Because this has happened with this particular gentleman. What problem have you had with pool cars?
The pool cars were not available. This happened recently. I had
one time, yeah. But
one time.
What's the time other than that?
That was the only event. I had been using the pickup truck. However, the pickup truck had a fuel pump go bad, and it was in the shop that particular day.
That's just a coincidence.
His pickup truck is also used by another employee, so he has to then schedule
That's a
for that employee.
coincidence, but he has cars available. I'll use the same example as the phones. It only took us 8 months to get him a phone. That wasn't our fault. He didn't go to the commissioners to get his phone. I mean, how can they help him?
All right. So
on the mileage and related to the pool cars, if you don't mind, Mr. Rosenbaum, you've used the pool cars before, and I think you had some challenges with having them ready to roll off the lot. Is that an accurate description?
So there was 3 pool cars that were available. One of them was a lease. As soon as I found out about the lease, and I didn't get a copy of the lease until June 22nd, but it had expired June 11th. 2 days later, I personally dropped it off. My wife picked me up to come back to work so that we could get rid of the vehicle. But that vehicle, before using it to the last time that I was available, I had to put a tire on it. So it had to come out from somewhere, so we had to take it out of our budget to do that. The fuel, I believe that the commissioners did end up paying for the fuel because as an elected official, or we took it out of the elected official fund. So that's how that last one was worked. I also paid for the oil change on it. Now, the two vehicles that are left, one of them, the Ford, has 2 flat front tires. Okay? The second one, the battery is dead. I started it once, drove it around town, parked it, should have parked it with the engine facing out, and I couldn't restart it. It needed fuel, and it also needs an oil change too. So there's definitely that. And I was actually surprised. I was thinking about this, is that the commissioners did not ask you for funds for keeping the pull cars going.
Okay.
Those details can be worked out. Minor issues, tires and battery and.
Because
all right. So mileage, so we've talked about mobile phone, we've talked about what other issues, concerns with this 106 budget?
Something that's coming up is a change in Drainage Board policy. They are going to charge fees and charge penalties. I don't have staff in the office during the entire day. It's just myself and 2 other individuals. That's something to get resolved in the future. I don't know if we can do that at this particular moment.
Okay.
Since we're mostly focused on 200s and 300s, I would make a motion to approve the numbers presented, however, with $100 for mileage and $0 for mobile phone, assuming it's being paid out of the commissioner's budget.
All right. So a motion from Mr. Keel for 2s and 3s with those modifications. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving Surveyor 106, 2s and 3s as presented, minus those 2 changes, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Now moving on to corner perpetuation.
Okay.
Again, these are the same as the 2026, as Mr. Auditor explained.
You're right, it is the same.
Yep.
However, if you go to the last line, there is the 30120 account. That was kept as high as it was because when you take a look a year back, no one was reviewing the corners as it was supposed to have happened. I believe we're supposed to have over 100 and some odd reviewed. Last year, 10 to 15 got reviewed. The person wasn't contracted until November to do the reviews.
Right.
This year, we're only up to about 25 to 30, and we just got bills in July. That's why you're seeing, it looks like you're seeing some of them. There was, some of this might be even from last year because we got the bill so late.
Okay. So do you have a plan with your contracted service in
Yes,
order to maintain?
I asked Tim, the person that handles our section corners at our current status. At Thursday of last week, he told me that we have prepared for review by the registered surveyor 120 section corners, and that the registered surveyor had completed 60 section corners. So we're on track of meeting our obligation of 5% for the year.
Perfect.
We haven't been billed for it yet, but it's been
All right,
done.
let's just make sure that we get timely billing so that we can make sure that it's either encumbered at the end of the year to cover, bills that we receive for 2027, 2026 in 2027, or that we've got the invoices in time for the end of the year so that they can be closed out. Anything else you want to highlight for your perpetuation fund?
It's something that will be coming up sometime in the near future is a expenditure for replacement section corner monuments, the cast iron objects that get placed in the road. We're running low on that. Exactly when we'll place the order remains to be seen because we may have enough to last a year. We'll have to see how many get damaged when roads.
for the rest of the 26 year or last year 27? Because this is the 27 budget.
Last for 26, so 27.
So
there may
you
be
kind of
some,
need to have it on your 27 budget.
but yeah, we don't have bids for them yet. We don't know what they'll cost. There is a economic order quantity. It'll be a 5-figure amount, and I don't have those numbers yet because we don't know what the charges will be. Everything goes up, sometimes outrageously.
So what I'd recommend is get a quote quickly.
You're 4 months from being out.
So
I'm sorry?
You're 4 months from being out, is what you're saying.
No, I don't know exactly how many are going to get damaged. It depends on how many monuments get damaged through the road resurfacing process. And the exact count, I don't know.
Mr. President.
So, yes, Mr. Yagowski.
So the county highway department has an inspector. And so any damages that, when they do repair, he needs to report this so we get reimbursed from the vendor. Anybody, what's NIPSCO, whoever it happens to be, he's got to follow procedures. We just don't repair it because the road got damaged. The road got damaged because somebody did it.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
This is the roto-milling that the highway department has done.
Fine.
This is the first I'm hearing that that's a procedure.
It's not only milling, but it's also with other ones that come out, let's just say cable or whoever happens to be. So if you're getting damage for those reasons, we need to know why and take care of it for that reason. You are not responsible, your department's not responsible for that damage. That's all, thank you.
Mr. Otter, how is corner perpetuation funded?
I'm sorry?
How is this fund actually replenished?
I have to take a look.
Is this a state?
It's collected by the recorder, part of the recorder fee, to my understanding.
Okay.
It's not property tax, so.
No, it's not property tax.
No, it's definitely off of a fee
Okay.
for it to be a perpetuation fund.
All right, so I'm going to suspect that it's got a balance somewhere above and beyond the 50,000 that is being requested here, that we could probably look at that. Short of having the actual plan and a budget line item, it's something that we could appropriate from this fund later on. So I'm going to...
As of March, yeah, it's definitely sufficient.
Okay. I'm going to request a motion from the board, from the council.
Motion to approve the 200s and 300s is presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pressel. All in favor of approving the Surveyor Corner Perpetuation 1202 Fund, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. 5-2. Thank you. All right, now, well, we're still ahead. You think we can call somebody else before we call treasurer?
I can ask public defender to be here for lunch if you want.
Let's see how fast this goes.
Should need about 20 minutes heads up probably.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for answering his text. Focusing on primarily on 2s and 3s, but we will have some questions on 1s. I'm gonna go from the bottom up. The mileage. You spent $16. Last year you spent $58. Can you get away with $100? Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Printing OT office, $19,000 last year. This year you're at $19,700 for the first 6 months. Do you expect to need additional monies there, or is that just a bulk order for the front half of the year to last you through the rest of the year?
That's just mainly for the tax bills.
Okay. So are you going to end up having to pay that amount again for the November collection?
No.
Okay.
That's just once a year.
That's just once a year. So can we reduce that down to 22?
Long as stamps don't keep going up again. That's, but yeah, we saved about $4,500 on printing this year.
Okay.
Do you pay for your postage, or do the commissioners pay for the postage out of their line item for the tax bills?
Well, we're supposed to, because we wipe out the commissioner's fund every time. They get mad at us because we basically wipe out all their funds, so there should be something in our budget for it, honestly.
I think they do a service, right?
We just, yeah, they do the Pitney Bowes service plus the postage.
Service.
They don't actually have, I can't remember the name. They print the bills.
Correct, yes, it's all underneath, the company does it.
I need to talk into a mic. Yeah, I think it goes with the service that they use to print the bills.
Right, it goes.
Mail them
So the
at the
19,000
bulk
is included
rate
in the
from that
So
facility.
it sounds like the 22 should be adequate.
I don't know how much.
Well, the 20, that's only half the bill. The bill's about 45,000 for the tax bills.
Not according to what we spend it.
This.
I understand that, but it's not showing the printing of it, or the postage, I'm sorry. So you're seeing,
Oh, Diane does pay that.
So the commissioners are paying it.
Okay.
So the commissioners are paying for that.
So back to
The
it.
$22,000 should be adequate for what you need for this budget.
correct.
All right.
That's what we're
if we were to
asking, not
roll
about
the-
the mailing.
That's all, I mean, we get actually two bills from them. The first bill would be the postage that we pay the company to print it.
Right, but that
And the
goes from
second bill is,
commissioner's budget.
That is in the commissioner's budget. They give
Thank you.
that bill to the commissioners to pay.
What if we were to just roll that postage cost over to the treasurer's office, just so that the whole thing, that whole process is all under one budget?
Oh, I'm
Then
sure
you'd have to
Diane
remove
would
it
do
from the commissioner's budget and put it over here.
I mean, they're already overspending on postage, so like it's underfunded.
I just think you should, only because then it would show what the office is truly spending, that's all. So if you want to know what it costs to run the treasurer's office, if half the bill is going through the commissioners, then it doesn't really show my.
She actually keeps track of it. You could, if you went to her, she actually keeps track of all those things, and you
No,
can
they still-
do a rundown if you wanted.
Damn it, no, it's a new. Who is that vendor?
I kind of
She's the
feel
only
like
one.
mailing should
She's the
stay
only one that does it.
mailing where it's at and not be separated out by
You
the
know,
office, unless you're going to do it all
Used to
across
be
the
L&D
board.
Iron Mark, but we went
Might
with,
increase your fees.
So let's, for now, right? We're
think about it for a second.
right now, the commissioners, whether they like to or not, it goes two different ways. Want to control postage.
Yeah. And
Then I'd say we just keep it at postage.
Okay.
that's fine. I was just asking the question. Because,
Yeah. Oh, it's a valid question. I don't disagree.
Because, I mean, we got 130,000 in postage and the other. But
Our-
20 of it's for the tax bills that kind of.
About 23.
Yeah. Well, that's going to go up.
Yeah, and I think they raise postage, what, 30 cents each? And we do 60-some thousand?
Who knows? Every day.
Everything goes up every day.
All right. Unless anybody else has anything for the 2s and 3s, I have some additional questions for the 100s. So overtime so far this year, 0 expended. Overtime in 2025 was 2,183. Instead of 14 grand, what if we made it 4?
How about we split it, make it 7?
But right now we have no evidence of exceeding 3 and even 4.
And we've already gone through your one tax cycle.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Because I'm trying to get them to, we comp some of their time now, and I want to get them to take overtime. So that's what we've been doing, because I'd rather have a little flex their time and take more off.
Work that way, Mr. President.
But
I'd rather show it as overtime.
But we have, if we look at
salaried
the coded employees, their salary versus, and that's where we have to reclassify the employees in that.
But are they non-exempt salaried or are they exempt salaried?
According to our salary ordinance, everybody except the department heads and their chief deputies is non-exempt.
Okay, that's where your
Overtime,
difference,
yeah.
that's where your difference is, but
That's not what the FLSA is requiring us to do. That's just what we're recording.
I understand. So,
Over the threshold.
but I still think that 14,000 is high.
So
What if
let's
we go down to 5?
That's what the recommendation was.
All right, no, I was going lower yet, so yeah, I can live with 5.
Twisting his arm.
Well, and to be honest, right, I'm throwing recommendations out. I'm looking for what,
We're putting notes in, so.
yeah, we're looking for what the
I still
final
think it's
motion.
going to be higher than what you need, but
Michigan City office.
Go right ahead.
I think this is Mr. Yagelski's pet project, the Michigan City downsizing
Yes, sir.
topic.
Yes, sir. You want to talk about it?
Last year, I think during budget hearings, we asked you whether or not you thought the Michigan City office was necessary for tax collections. Now you have some numbers to work with. What are your feelings about it?
Well, the 4 days prior to the tax collection, Michigan City is taking in over $1 million a day on the counter.
Wait. Yes, a question, Ron. We close a couple days a week, or close Michigan City. You still can have somebody for 4 days during the tax collection.
Sure.
We can't use apples and oranges. We have to use that.
How about during the rest of the year? Is there much traffic up there? Does it make sense to have a location for the treasurer's office the rest of the year, maybe excepting a couple weeks around tax collection?
There's people in that office every day coming there.
But like, how much? Like, does it make sense to justify?
Anywhere from 4 to 10 people a day all the time. I mean, they also do permits and, the workers are busy because they're doing surplus, they're doing garnishments. So, there's plenty of work for them to do. So they're busy all year round. It's just.
Does your office here have the space to accommodate them if they were relocated to this office?
Yeah, they could probably fit in there.
That's what we're talking about. Just for past history, we had cut back way back with the issue with the county taxes that we couldn't afford because we weren't getting tax revenue in. And we did shut the Michigan City down for a period of time. Because again, we have access to now, as you well know, the banks can take the money and credit cards, and we have deposit boxes that are out there that they pick up. So
I guess what would you say by shutting that office down?
Eventually, that we would consolidate the people, because you're not going to have the same amount of people if you shut the office down.
Well, yeah, because they're doing work that's not being done, and LaPorte couldn't handle it.
So you have a person that comes to you, and right now you have 10 people coming to your desk, and now you have 20 people coming to your desk, means that you can still do it with that one person. You don't have to have an extra person for the extra 10 people we're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying, they're also doing, garnishments and other work. It's not like they're just sitting there all day long. They're actually busy in Michigan City.
Yep, there is a way to consolidate. To streamline. There is a way.
Well, I don't think you can in my office and get the work done because, we got innkeepers tax and everything. You're only looking at 5 people.
It's your opinion, sir. It's not mine. My opinion is I think we can consolidate.
Well, I'm the one that runs the office and knows how much work.
Appreciate it, and I'm the one who controls with money like the rest of the council members do. So that's the way it works. I'm sorry.
All right. So we're not here to approve 100 yet.
But we had discussion about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I just moved the meeting along to where.
And then on the 100 for our first deputy, her wage is actually $54,387 a year, so that one's a little off. They didn't figure any of her step increases in there.
Again, we didn't get a budget. We didn't get 144, so we'll make the corrections as we go through.
Okay.
When did you turn in your budget documents?
In the budget, they put in 3 numbers. The only accounts that had changes.
Okay. So, considering 2s and 3s, what's the pleasure?
Adam?
Yes, ma'am.
So Diane said we pay Midwest pre-sort services $26,100 for postage.
Postage out of that 190 or 140.
That explains the disparity. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So, what's the pleasure?
Motion to approve 2s and 3s with the correction of printing going to 22,000 and mileage down to 100.
All right. A motion by Mr. Kessler. Do I have a second? Anyone?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressley.
5,000, 22,100, right, for the changes?
Yeah.
22,001.
5,000 some changed it.
Oh, so his question is anything related to overtime?
That's a 100
It's a
account.
100.
It's 100 account, so you're keeping
I
out.
said 2s and 3s.
You did say 2s and 3s. Thank you. All right, so all in favor of approving 2s and 3s with the 2 identified changes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Who are the nays?
Actually, I got 4-3.
Actually, 3.
4-3.
4-3.
Mike? Okay.
Just for clarity, Mr. Yagowski, Mrs. Heath, Mr. Mullenhour, nays. Thank you. All right. So that puts us through treasurer. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So with 10 minutes to go, but lunch is here and we are caught. I'm going to call for a recess. Recess till 1 o'clock.
Whatever.